You can have the night off, chicken.
Ah, okay, I'll go
Family
marinate.
doesn't need any
Cereal.
protein. That's
Cereal.
right.
When I
In
say
politics, welcome to we're all sharing this dystopian future that we're looking at. This is the Kellogg's commercial here for Frosted Flakes, or what's the corn flakes, you know, depending on how broke you are, Frosted Flakes or corn flakes, up to you. They have options. They were recently, they're getting in a little bit of hot water because recently they were pitching like, hey, why don't we just do cereal for dinner? You know what I mean? The whole family sits down, pours up a nice cold bowl of the Frosted Flakes. Not even a fucking tasty cereal, by the way. Not even their tastiest version of the exact same cereal. And then the glee on the mom's face, by the way. Guys, moms, I know it's tough
cereal.
cooking and all that. You know what I mean? Cooking every day. I 100%. I understand that.
Will you say dinner?
But
Cereal.
this lady,
Cereal.
how quickly she's ready to take protein out of her kid's diet. Unless they're going to cut up some little pieces of steak and put it on top. Because that's, by the way, we'll get into his response here in a second. Make sure you subscribe, show some love, share this content with anybody that likes political content, hip hop content, sports content. We get into it all here, probably to my disadvantage, but we definitely get into it all here and we rock out. So make sure you show some love, subscribe. We're rocking. Look, duck protein. How sad
You
chicken
can
comes in.
have the night off, chicken.
We're not going to kill you tonight, okay? You're going to have to wait until tomorrow. We're going to let you sit on it.
Ah, okay.
God, the look to the camera. The look to the camera like it's an Office episode. You know what I'm saying? The sick look that she gives, as if it's like the joke's on her family, you know, in 6 years when her kids are malnourished and their bones are brittle and they break.
Ah, okay, I'll go marinate.
Cereal.
Go get ready for tomorrow. Psych, we're gonna have cereal again tomorrow, bitch. Make sure you subscribe. Like I said, show some love. We're gonna get into the crux of this. We're gonna listen to Kellogg CEO. He hopped on. I think it was CNN. Let's pull it up.
Exclusively today is
NBC, and he defended this. Obviously, like I said, there were some outcries of how dystopian this actually did look, and how tone deaf it was, because we're gonna get into it. But I mean, he's like, this is a great option for you guys.
Okay, Kellogg Company.
Feed your fucking kids cereal every
Chairman and CEO Gary Pilnick having just presented at CAGNY. Gary, it's great to have you.
It's like
big piece in the Journal today, just looking at the share of income going to food and sort of exploring the idea that it's hard to find eras in which food prices actually retrench and stay down.
We seem like this was a good idea for you to come on and push some bullshit.
Talk about what you said today at CAGNY.
Well, Carl, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. When we think about our consumer under pressure, there's things that we could do, but most importantly, what this category could do. The cereal category has always been quite affordable, and it tends to be a great destination when consumers are under pressure. So some of the things that we're doing is first messaging. We got to reach the consumer where they are. So we're advertising about cereal for dinner. If you think about the cost of cereal for a family versus what they might otherwise do, that's going to be much more affordable. The other places that we like to go is we talk about making sure we have the right pack at the right
help you
price
guys
in the right place.
You want to starve
having a different size pack that'll have a different price point, that'll take some pressure off the consumer while they're shopping. So those are some of the things that we're doing. But in general, the cereal category is a place that a lot of folks might come to because the price of a bowl of cereal with milk and with fruit is less than $1. So you can imagine why a consumer under pressure might find that to be a good place to go.
Right. I'm all for innovation and marketing, but the idea of having cereal for...
I think having meat every night for dinner and having a protein, like, that sounds old school to me. What do you have to say about that, Kellogg CEO?
Dinner. Is there the potential for that to land the wrong way?
Absolutely not.
We don't think so. In fact, it's landing really well right now, Carl.
People are grateful.
When we look at all of our data, of course, we would know that breakfast cereal is the #1 choice for in-home consumption.
This doesn't really mean too much because, I mean, stocks do fluctuate. But I'm just saying we're looking at a red down arrow, brother, as you're saying that.
We understand that for breakfast.
I am seeing the big month-to-date green arrow, though.
25% of our consumption is outside the breakfast occasion. A lot of it's at dinner, and that occasion continues to grow, as well as the snacking occasion. But cereal for dinner is something that is...
This is the thing. Cereal for dinner Okay, let's play with this concept here, and let's say yes, it's growing. I mean, we do see, like I said, a 13% growth month to date, whatever. So let's just go with that. People are broke as fuck. They're starving to death, so they're eating Frosted Flakes for dinner. With that being said, is it families? Okay, now you're marketing it towards family. Like, hey, instead of having chicken for dinner, have a bowl of Frosted Flakes, guys. Maybe share the bowl. Maybe everybody gets a spoon, and you guys all share one bowl. Yeah, that is what he's pitching right now for families. That's not the people that we're talking about that's eating fucking cornflakes for dinner. I guarantee you that.
It's probably more on trend now, and we would expect to continue as that consumer is under pressure.
I have to admit, as a
Under
busy
pressure.
mom, I've had cereal for dinner more than once recently. So, Gary, I guess
Somebody has Kellogg's stock on the fucking panel here.
maybe your marketing is working on me. I'm wondering about some of the conversations
Poor
that you've
kids.
had to have with some of your bigger clients, Walmart's, Targets, as they're trying to make sure that they're offering the best possible prices that they can to their consumers that are coming in. Are they asking you to sort of take some of this on the chin so that
Let's see him talk about how much Walmart cares about the consumer.
price that
Let's
they're
go.
selling the cereal for is a little bit
Yeah.
unmanageable to the consumer?
Courtney, it's a great question. That's exactly what retailers always do. Retailers are in the business of making sure they do the
Thank you
right
for sending
thing
me
for
that question all
their
the time.
customers. That's the end consumer. So whenever you wanted to have a price increase, they're going to make sure that we're doing what we need to do. And what we're doing, we need to make sure that we drive productivity so that we can cover as much inflation as possible. If you go backwards in time, the inflation was just so great, companies had a tough time covering it. But that's our job as well. Those conversations have always happened. They're happening now and will continue into the future.
Gary, a big theme running through CAGNY this year appears to be companies that believe that volumes are going to recover somewhat in the second half. Are you in that school?
It's interesting. The way we talk about it is when you take a look at the curves of dollars and volume, there was quite a gap, particularly last year as price elasticities hit. We were predicting and we forecasted that gap would start to narrow. It happened in Q4, and it's happening now as well in the cereal category. And the good news is the cereal category is doing quite well. It's in growth.
People are starving, brother. Look, they have no other option. They're eating fucking cereal for breakfast. We're doing great.
So the volumes are now rising up to meet where the dollar curve is as well. So we do think that is going to be the case. We think the narrowing continues.
Oh, okay. That was the end. The narrowing continuing is the end. Let me just go ahead and scoobity-doo boop. All right, cool. And then let me make sure we're all good. Hop in the comments. Let us know we're coming through crispy clean. Oh, there we are. All right. I checked it myself, but hop in the comments and let me know that you're getting me loud and clear and direct. But yeah, let me know how you feel about that as well. It does feel, like I said, dystopian, really. And like they're really trying to make you feel like this is in your best interest. You know what I mean? Like this is for you. Which that's the sales. That's the sales in them. You know what I mean? Where it's like, hey, let's we have an opportunity here where people are really under pressure is the word that they like to continue to use. And we're going to become a desperation option. So how do we take advantage of that and then also kind of do a PR spin on the need, you know what I mean? And that the fact that people are sitting here like, look how happy. Don't get me wrong, kids probably would be this happy if you're like, hey, we're doing fucking Fruit Loops for dinner, guys. Fuck yeah, Fruit Loops, no steak. So I mean, this is probably genuine excitement that these kids are tapping into. They're even, look, the mom got the mini wheats in her hands. Everybody has options. Thank you, Chloe. I appreciate that. Everybody has options. That's another way to spin it. Like, are you tired of having to please picky eaters? Why don't you just show up at the kitchen table and have 3 different boxes of options for them? And by the way, think about, sure, yeah, when they're in gym class, their kneecaps will probably burst on impact. Of course. But at the end of the day, you'll be saving money. And that's money, a dollar saved is a dollar earned that could go towards their hospital bills when you're, repairing their hips and things of that nature. So I just want to run through this one more time.
You say dinner.
Look, hey, I want to be honest. There's somebody in this video that does not want to be in this fucking commercial and is being held here against their will by this giant tiger. The tiger is psyched. Okay, and he's giving the sales pitch. He's the front man. But you got Toucan Sam, man. Somebody go out there. Somebody save Toucan Sam. He does not want to be here. Toucan Sam does not want to be here. He knows it's wrong. He knows he's a breakfast bird, for fuck's sake. He is not a nighttime bird. Definitely not a dinner bird. And just watch this. Silent.
Cereal. Dinner. Cereal.
He's a okay. He's a toucan. I was about to say he's a parrot. That's hilarious. Oh my god! Look at these kids, man. The direction on this. The dad that should be this close to hanging himself because he can only provide cereal for his kids. I mean, I'm not trying to shame or anything. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I know it's hard. I'm not trying to say that. But look, man, you could have bought him some. If this would have been a ramen noodles commercial, honest to God, I would have felt better about it. You know, like, guys, you could do ramen noodles for dinner. Like, we were already doing that, but let us know and then turn it into a marketing campaign. I'm cool with that. What I'm not cool with is, we were not eating cereal as a family for dinner, except on really sad nights. Really sad nights. Like, this is the dinner, like, after you were at the funeral late. You know what I mean? Are you okay with Frosted Flakes? Mom doesn't feel like cooking. And then she goes in her bedroom. She cries. Chloe says the tiger gets scarier and scarier every year. Illustrators drawing his nightmares. Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is like when Disney writers illustrators put weird stuff in the cartoons. It's like these guys that are doing. It's just like a license. Like, hey, if I make it passable as a lion, they might accept it, or a tiger. They might accept it. But yeah, this tiger's eyes are dead and yellow. Dead and yellow. And like I said, once again, poor Toucan Sam. I mean, somebody get him out of there. Somebody adopt this bird. Is there a sanctuary we can get Toucan Sam to? Please. He's done with Fruit Loops. He doesn't want to push it to kids for dinner. Yeah, no, just like that, Paul, for real. Kids are stoked. They don't even know the payback, like what they're sacrificing on the back end. It will be dear. Don't try to play any sports, kids, because you're just not going to have the bones.
Cereal.
Chicken.
God.
You can have the night.
I like how they made the chicken. It's a chicken because chicken's weak, right, guys? Nobody would want chicken. Chicken is a weakling.
Off, chicken.
Okay, I'll go marinate.
Cereal. Cereal.
The greatest commercial ever made. Just give that person a fucking raise. I wonder what is going to happen with the people that went forth with this sort of, I guess, marketing campaign or marketing angle. Because yeah, it's just deaf. It's tone deaf. It's really insensitive to the consumers. Anybody that needs to eat cereal for dinner doesn't need to be told that they can eat cereal for dinner. You know what I'm saying? I think that's just a fair stance to take. Let's see what else we got. Oh man, yeah, I wanted to show you guys this. If you guys have not seen Trump on his campaign trail and some of the tricks he's been pulling. Don't get me wrong, when he pulled out the Kodak Black, like, hey, I'm gonna pardon Kodak Black on my way out, and anybody that likes that, wink wink, anybody that likes that, feel free to vote for me. So the weird pander to the black vote in like a tone deaf way, a really weird way. So recently, and I'll pull up the statement exactly, but the statement of like black people support him because he's fighting cases. I mean, don't get me wrong. Have I met some black people that might fuck with him partially because of that? That might be a fact. You might not be totally tone deaf on that, but the majority of support that he's getting is definitely not because of that. Majority of support that he's getting in general is based off him being a kind of like counter culture figure, pushing against what at least the perception is that he's pushing against what is the norm and this kind of like, corrupt swamp or whatever you want to call it. So I thought this video was hilarious. Obviously, he dropped some shoes, and this was another thing that he said. He's like, hey, man, I'm trying to get black people to come out and vote for me. I'm going to go ahead and drop some exclusive sneaks. So I want to show you a video of somebody actually locking in with the sneaks. And I've seen a few people actually, which is hilarious, but Cheerios is nutritional, right? Yeah, no, somewhat. I mean, partially nutritional, but the thing is, that's why you have your cereal, your Cheerios, ideally in the morning, and then at nighttime, in lunch, hopefully you're still getting some of those other nutritional benefits that you're not getting from Cheerios, like, wait for it, fucking protein. Jesus Christ. Hey, big baby. Yes. What's going on, Jade Spades? We're in the building, vibing. We were just talking about how we'll all eventually be eating Frosted Flakes, which, if you think about it, is better than the alternative of eating insects, maybe. Although, then again, insects, there is a certain amount of protein there. I'm confused. In the blue line crowd, how thin is the blue line? If you hate law enforcement, the moment that they're against Trump. How thin is the blue line if you hate law enforcement the moment that they're against Trump? Okay, gotcha. I'm not sure exactly what we're talking about because we're talking about the sneaks. So a lot of people's loyalty, specifically, definitely, I agree with you, aligns with Trump. And there's sort of like a party kind of line that's going to be towed because he is a Republican. So you have a lot of those like quote unquote Republican values that end up getting pushed forward by people who align with Trump, even if he will even push those values, even if he does not live up to them in his actual personal life. I think we see that a lot. So let's see here. I want to go ahead and play. This is my man's Fat Joe. He's just letting you know, look, man, he had to buy the sneaks. It's not a big deal. Don't hate him for it. He had to buy the sneakers. He had to buy the Homelander joints, the Homelander ones.
I don't know how you feel about this, but I got the Trump sneakers.
He had to. His hands were tied.
I got them. Now, I'm a sneaker collector. I'm a sneaker collector. What does that mean, Joe? I'm one of the biggest sneaker collectors in the world. Now, you know, I don't rock with Trump. You know, I'm a die-hard Democrat. You know, I'm a loyal Democrat to a fault. I almost think I'm a sucker. I'm like the lady who used to follow Obama around going, fired up. I'm one of them.
Fired up. Oh, brother.
But I needed the Trumps.
Let's see. Was I able to go? Okay.
Why?
Just real quick, guys, I had to go ahead and fix it. I was trying to go live on Instagram next week. See me on Instagram, okay? It's really complicated to go live on Instagram while I'm going live on all these other platforms, and they fucked me after the fact. So either way, let's get back into it, but I wanted to let you guys know you can find me on Instagram after it's going live. I thought it was happening, but it wasn't.
If you collect, I don't know how you feel.
Okay, all right. That's video one, but don't even get it twisted.
What Basquiat was into? Do you know what Andy Warhol was into? Any of these artists that you was into?
This is my thing. Who is Andy Warhol? Who is Basquiat in this analogy that he's trying to get to? Is he Andy Warhol and Basquiat? Like, I don't know. Or is Trump you don't know what Trump is into type shit, or you shouldn't worry about it. I don't know.
You love the art, so you get it. I guess they separate art from the person. Now, me as a sneaker collector,
He's like, I'll buy some sneakers from Jeffrey motherfucking Dahmer if they came out. I don't give a fuck.
to get my hand on the Trumps.
Oh, here, talking about it. Yeah. Okay.
Doesn't matter.
I think I got you.
Show us the Trumps, please. Y'all trying to clout chase it. Y'all get me a Trump. Give me the Trump, man. Give me the Trump, man.
Oh, wait, it looks like the fucking Tennessee Volunteers fucking end zone, by the way, right now. Let's be clear on that.
They think you're fronting. They think I'm fronting. But listen, I have thousands and thousands and thousands pair of sneakers. When everybody flipped on Kanye, I went and bought the 2 most exclusive Kanyes ever.
When people hate you, that's why I buy your sneakers the most.
First of all, they let him slay. No, I ain't doing all that. Just give me one of the sneakers. I'm not a boss.
It's taking them a long time to find these sneakers.
I know, for sure. I'm sure they have them in some fucking case.
Show them the box first, what it says.
This is an
Friends and
video.
family. There's only 50 of these.
On the box it says friends and family. He said there's only 50 of these.
Bro, what one of the things I love is, I guess if you go on the website and you go to order, it tells you like you may get this.
Yeah.
Like you may not get this, but we'll see. And it's like, God, that's a big
They
gamble for the price.
Hey, I mean, that was kind of like what people were saying about the Triple B shoes. Like people were like a year later, like I still haven't even got my shoes. Oh my God. Yeah, that was crazy. But either way,
I gotta get my hands on them.
LeVar Ball, I guarantee voting for Trump. Guarantee. I would bet anything. Listen to me.
Business practice.
Listen to me. I would bet. I'm not bullshitting here. I'm serious. I would bet anything that LeVar Ball, and I bet you if you asked him though, he would argue with you about it and tell you basically he's not going to tell you who he's going to vote for. But you look him in his eyes, he's voting for Trump. Oh, any disagreement on that? No, there's no chance LeVar. Right. There's no chance LeVar Ball submits a vote for Joe Biden. That's all I can say. You're right.
Once again, I'm not a Trumper. I dislike Trump. I'm not voting for him. Not now, not never.
I mean, look, dude. How many people hated Jordan but got the shoes still, man?
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's a little different. We know what this is going to pay for, the lawsuit.
Did you see the SNL skit where Shane Gillis he had the Trumps? Yeah. He was just basically a delusional dickhead to everybody.
He's like this is not making me better, but it gave me the confidence to make you think that I'm right.
100%. Yeah, that was hilarious.
Oh my god!
I was did you watch any a lot of that, or I don't know how much you know about Shane Gillis or anything like that.
No, I like Shane Gillis.
Okay, because it was a big deal that he was doing it because he was fired from SNL previously.
See, I did not know he was fired from SNL.
Yeah, he literally never got on SNL. He got the job. No, he got the job. Was going to appear on it, and then basically some tweets that he did that were insensitive about Asian people.
Lot of shit.
Yeah, but that's comedy. You know what I mean? That's the place to do it.
He's him, and we talked about it before. Him, Rogan, and them, man. They all kind of. Just kind of put a stop to that whole you can't cancel me. I'm just going to say what I want.
Yeah,
I mean he gets a pass on a lot of the Down syndrome stuff because
he has family or whatever.
Because his family and shit.
Yeah,
but
well, I mean, and also just because he's willing to say
shit.
it. I think he doesn't totally because I've seen plenty of times that he's tried. Even on the SNL, if you watch his monologue, he tried to get that one off the Down syndrome, and the people at that audience weren't really feeling it. Now, if you watch a special, people love it, and I think that's where they beat cancel culture is because if you build an audience of people from the very beginning, your audience, and you build them based off of that kind of material, which is really edgy or whatever. Yeah, go ahead.
Over 300 million people in the country. 1% like you, that's 3 million.
Crazy, yeah.
So it's
sure.
So yeah, I mean, there's always a crowd. There's always a demographic that you could appeal to. And the thing with Shane is his shit is funny. You can hate him or love him. Again, it's one of those things where it's guys, we don't have to agree politically and we can all make jokes. We know this shit with the Trump shoes is insane. Yeah. Whether you like him or not, it's fucking insane. All right. We know Joe Biden is so fucking old. Okay, and he fell off a bike.
Yeah.
Okay, we get it.
No, and I think you're right. I think as far as in his case, he appeals to a portion of people where he's just really just saying shit that everybody already knows, and it's just kind of controversial. And then the Trump support I think is more of a troll that he gets into where it's he likes to get a rise out of people based off that. Where did Fat Joe climb out from?
Who knows?
Fat Joe, if you're into the hip hop media and stuff like that, he does pop up every once in a while. He's not completely coming out of left field here. I think he has a podcast. He definitely used to.
Yeah, with 50 not too long ago.
Yep. I think we talked about on here, or maybe I posted that on. It was Twitter. Alex, yeah, Twitter. Yeah. So I posted something where he was hanging out with 50 and was laying there like a Greek fucking emperor waiting to be fed fucking grapes.
Yeah. Feet up on the couch right next to your ops. Yeah.
Here, we just got a little bit left of this video, then we'll wrap it up.
But I'm a sneaker collector into the art, so I had to find.
Look at those bitches. He needed them.
Value. I now get it. He sees the resale value. Yeah.
Well, and I think at some point in this video he says he didn't pay for them. So yeah. And that's crazy to say you didn't pay for them, and there's only the other guy said there's only 50 of them. So the supply and demand.
What are you doing for that shoe, Fat Joe?
What are you doing for that shoe? Yeah, if you didn't pay for him, you just didn't get the shoe for no reason. I'm sure that's a good point.
Hey.
But then again, he's not endorsing him. I guess it would have been a red flag if he would have been hey, look, I love Trump. He's misunderstood. I got the sneakers. I didn't pay for. You know what I mean? Then it'd be okay, did he give you those for some kind of public endorsement? But in this case,
Fat Joe, he just really bums Fat Joe.
I guess I don't know. Yeah, because he's even had the sneakers. He's I do not fuck with Trump. He's I don't like him at all.
These. Now the mayor's gonna call me. Everybody's gonna call me. They say you wilding out, Joe. Why you got the Trump? Look, mayor's the first one. Joe, I'm a sneaker collector. I don't know what none of these guys did. I collect sneakers.
I guess he's being consistent in that way.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
The rarer, the better.
But then hold on, what if somebody does something? So I get what you're saying, because from an ignorant standpoint, it's like I don't know what the people that design Nike or whatever do in their spare time. Yeah. But it's like this guy you do know. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it just so happens to be this is a
polarizing enough.
This is a polarizing figure. That's a great point. Yeah. And it's
if Israel, not for comparison,
produced a shoe,
but if they were to produce a shoe, are you going to go cop that right away?
Who knows? Yeah, maybe Fat Joe would.
I collect sneakers.
Okay. Yeah. I hate when I pause it on a.
No, I didn't pay for these sneakers.
Oh, that was the last thing. Okay, yeah. Just to be clear, yeah, none of my money went towards these sneakers. Yeah, I mean, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about?
Well, which model were those? Were those the 500, 1000, 2000?
I didn't even know there was different models. To be honest with you,
I don't know. There were models. Just saw different prices. I was
holy moly,
shit!
I mean, it's probably the same. I wonder if there's like different like benefits. Like, oh, if you pay for this, it gets signed. Or it comes with a picture of Trump.
Yeah, I don't know. It's more personal for an extra $1,000.
This guy's sitting here saying that he fucking didn't pay. Card. Yeah, I have a hard time believing he didn't pay for it, just because I know that there's obviously the market for it. Obviously, you have 50 people. If there's only 50 of them that you made, obviously there's 50 Trumpers out there that would pay any price in the world for anything from Trump. The motherfucker was selling trading cards,
bro. And when you get in these comment sections and you're like, this is going to pay off his lawsuit, like good. He needs to pay it off. It's like, whoa. It's like, all right.
Well, so, I mean, to a certain degree,
people will do whatever.
To a certain degree, I actually understand that.
No, I
because I mean, yeah, if you believe that he's actually being unjustly prosecuted by the United States government, and you feel like he should, some of these people literally feel like he's like a savior, like literally like a savior. Like
you shouldn't feel any.
I don't know if I don't know if I'm saying I don't know if they feel like equivalent to Jesus Christ, because that seems like hyperbole, but like in the conversations I've had, it kind of seems like that.
There should be nobody outside of LeBron or Dan Marino.
Oh shit!
No, nobody that you look at like that. But yeah, no, I don't know. Like
LeBron leaving the Heat didn't do anything for you. That didn't hurt you at all when he left the Heat. You're a Heat fan, so I'm wondering.
Yeah, no,
because you're putting him in the same league as Jesus right now.
No, I understood why he left. Understood why he came. Understood why he left. You want to go get them a ring? Of course, I was a little upset because you knew that it was over.
Yeah,
you knew that Wade's gone now, and we got injury prone Bosch.
It wasn't that over though. Because I mean, they turned it around pretty quick.
Yeah, we went to the playoffs, and then now we've been great. And I've been telling you about hero and shit. But
and what if he would have stayed there? I mean, it's like you guys probably could have built something around him pretty quick. I don't know. Whatever. Either way, that's yeah.
But no, like I don't know, man. Like I get it. If you feel he was wrongfully, like they did him wrong, and you want to pay his lawsuit, that's still crazy to me because you have your own issues to worry about.
Well, not pay his lawsuit, but help.
Yeah, help. But it's like you have your own issues to worry about right now. Okay, do that. Why don't you go help a homeless person? Because don't help the self-proclaimed billionaire.
They're like, fuck that. My family could eat Frosted Flakes for dinner.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna help Trump.
Right. And it's like, all right, but listen, I get it. Okay, it's same people who watch late night television and start donating to the church that they watch on TV. Okay.
Oh yeah,
I get it. Like you feel like
we gotta talk about the Joel Osteen shit.
Oof.
Yeah, but yes.
But it's like I don't know. It's not for me. Not my cup of tea. If Joe Biden put out a sneaker, I would not be buying it. I'm sorry. I still shop for my Adidas at the outlet.
Okay. Well, I mean, for me, I'm not much to financially contribute to somebody that has more money than me anyways. That's like, I'm never going to take somebody out for dinner and then pay for their dinner. Honestly, if I know that you significantly have more money, I'm like, why would I do that? It's craziness. I don't know. That might sound a little fucking nuts. While I said it sounded nuts, but honestly, I feel like I can stand on it. If I'm going out with you and you're pulling in $100K a year or $200K, $1 billion, a fucking billionaire, definitely.
If I'm a billionaire,
I was like, man, you can hold, like you're saying, like, even if my problems aren't dire, you know what I mean? It's like my problems are obviously more urgent and dire than. And again, like I said, I don't know, but then
it like he says, 374 ain't too bad, man. That's just
I mean,
a third.
It's a lot, but you know what I mean.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, but
it's a lot.
Yeah, but it's like at the end of the day, I don't have it. But you're not being asked to pool the entire amount either. You know what I mean? It's with you and your other Trumpers.
What blows my mind is how everybody's sitting there and they're like, oh, well, it's victimless. And it's like, yes and no. Again,
what's victimless?
His crime. People trying to say that. It's like it fucks up with the market. Okay, obviously it inflates his wealth, which then you get to borrow more money based off of it. But I mean, what's his name? Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary. going on and saying like this is what all real estate does. So what, you're going to start coming after all real estate in New York? And it's like, well, this is what you all do.
Hopefully.
Then that's been our fucking problem. And
hopefully we do come after you.
we do come after you.
Yeah,
Thanks for saying it on TV. But that's what you do. It's pretty hard to go against that now. But it's like, do
you think that it's any of that in your mind is unjust or like politically motivated, or do you think it's just a matter of he's not president anymore, so now we're able to prosecute him and it kind of is what it is?
I think both.
Okay.
I think obviously there's some political motivation, obviously, as far as like we're not going to turn the blind eye to it.
Oh, I snapped just now.
As in like, you came after a lot of people and now tables have turned.
Yeah.
But also it's not like he's innocent of something and they made everything up. It's that they just said, you know what? You're not getting away with this.
How do you feel about that? Because you obviously you would identify as a Democrat. So like, how do you feel about that as a Democrat, being a supporter of the party? And this obviously could be viewed as kind of hamstringing democracy in a way, especially when you consider like also RFK is not able to get on ballots. This was already this was a separate issue for Trump where they weren't allowing him on ballots.
RFK?
Yeah,
he's
an independent, so he
can't be on primaries.
Well, but the thing is, that's still like,
but the general election in November, he can. I mean, there's nothing for him to even win. In
no,
the primaries
no. Some states, I don't think that he would be eligible to be voted for president. We can check that though.
Yeah, that'd be wild if they just remove independence. I mean, I guess people can write him in if they're that.
Write in. You can do a write in. Yeah.
Still, I get what that's. That's not democracy. That's not what we want. But again, I don't think that anything was created out of politics. There was no political motive to create a crime that he made.
Yeah,
it's just that.
Well, I mean, but I'm gonna pull up some information for the RFK situation. But the reason I wanted to kind of contrast their situations is because they get lumped in together a lot of times. But as far as we know, obviously RFK hasn't committed any crimes.
Yeah, well, that's why I want to know why, like if there's anything that they're really doing against him. As far as like Donald, again, how much of it is that people that he was associated with also went down around the same time that were looking for pardons? Because remember, he was pardoning people that some of his associates in the business world, and maybe there's things that were caught that came up. And remember, he was looking for immunity as he was leaving office.
Yeah.
So obviously, there's something he knew was coming up. He wants to be immune from crimes that he's committed.
Yeah.
So that's where it's like 91 charges. I don't think are all fake.
Yeah, I think 91 may not be, but the fact that we're up to 91 doesn't that kind of smell of you're really trying to throw the book at this person and really?
But again, the party of fucking
Law and Order.
This was my point earlier that I was trying to like in the comments was that we're looking at he's for the culture because he's facing a charge and he's doing this and he's against the man. It's like no. You guys have always been the party of Law and Order. Okay, stick to that. Be consistent with that. The man broke the law. You can't tell me he didn't break the law. You know he broke the law. Now it's a matter of, who was really harmed? It's not a violent crime. And it's like, no, but when we're looking at all of us complaining about the way the economy is and the way that our pocketbooks look next to everyone else's, you can't turn a blind eye.
I think from a lot of people's opinions, though, it's convenient. And like what Mr. Wonderful said, which we got to get this guy's name because
Kevin O'Leary.
Thank you, Kevin O'Leary. That's the last time I'm calling him Mr. Wonderful. But like, for example, there where he's saying like everybody does it. I agree. Like maybe that means that we need to start investigating other people, but that is the red flag where it's like, okay, everybody's participating in this. You're choosing to single out one person. And then as far as we know, they're not like cracking down on this across the board or something. Like maybe that is something that we'll see in the future. And hopefully we should.
I mean, who knows how many?
Yeah. It just seems convenient.
Yeah, no, and but at any point it would seem convenient, right?
I mean, not necessarily. I mean, like if he wasn't running for president, like I mean, if this time had passed and then Joe Biden gets reelected or another Republican gets elected, and then 5 years later, I don't know. You know what I mean? If we're away from the issue, but the thing is, there's a flashpoint that we're heading towards. I think we all realize that we're heading towards where there's a possibility that he could be elected as president. Right. So the fact it's happening now, that's what makes it feel convenient.
How much of this was that there was things that he was doing that was kind of overlooked and like people didn't notice it or didn't see it, and then as his image got even brighter and broader, right?
Sure.
Got larger, that things came to light. The more he said, again, the more people that got arrested for shit that has to do with white collar crime. How much of that with more information being gathered, with more people talking, did it then again?
I don't hold on. Let me respond to that because I think that you're being very charitable, and that could be how it happened. But I'm saying, I want to just propose the exact same scenario, but only say that now in this case, you have the opportunity to affect his ability to run for campaign.
Right.
So all the same things are true. Like these things did happen, so on and so forth.
So
yeah, go ahead.
So no, that's what I'm getting to. So now, what are we supposed to do? Wait to see if he wins or loses the election, then go after him?
The government,
because then no matter what, it's going to be something. So
does the government's motivation not matter? So if the government's motivation is for justice, to put, Trump in prison because he took advantage of all these laws, so on and so forth, that's one thing. But there's a different intention. If your intention by prosecuting him is to say he's a threat to democracy and we don't want him to run, therefore we're going to throw these charges at him now conveniently. Yeah.
But see, that's where I don't think that it's a like that cause. Like I don't think that it's just, well, we don't want him to run, so now we got to figure it out. I think that there was, again, he was leaving office with the pretense of, I'm going to face charges for something. I need immunity. What it was, we don't know. But you had people laughing and telling him like, dude, you're going to prison before he like left office. So it's again, I don't know. We can all speculate on how we got here, but what I will say is that when you know someone's breaking the law and it's on this large scale, yeah, you should pursue them. And then especially if not just the threat of democracy, but when they're saying, hey, when I win president, I have the right to just immune myself of all crime.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, then would you not want someone to be prosecuted before they have the ability to sit there and make themselves immune? Or would you rather say, what? All your crimes should be forgiven. You're going to run for president.
I don't know how much that is, because I've heard that he can't pardon himself if he becomes president. So I don't know how much
Supreme Court has to make a decision.
Yeah, so I don't know how much of that necessarily. I have heard what I think you're talking about, which is him saying that basically presidents should be immune from all crimes.
He's flat out said that.
He has said that. Yeah. But as far as him making himself immune to, I don't know how much we're in actual danger of that. I guess my problem is
5 Supreme Court justices were appointed by him.
Yeah, I understand, but at the same time, I don't know that means that they're gonna put to the side their own ethics and then just support. Maybe, but I'm just not that jaded. I guess I would think that's a lot of responsibility that they would be treating, like a favor.
Yeah, but,
essentially, which may be the case.
Which again, part of fear, right, is that the fear of the unknown. So it's like, do you want to fuck around and find out with that?
Yeah.
So it's like, again, if he was not guilty of crime, I would agree and be like, this is bullshit.
Okay.
Again, I'm on the side.
Well, technically, for right now, he is innocent.
Sure.
Proven guilty.
He was just awarded the lawsuit, not awarded, but he was just given the lawsuit. So they found him guilty of something.
Well, they indicted him, but he's not guilty until he's been proven guilty. That's America.
But when
the other shit, like the civil shit that's already went through, he's guilty of. But it's what we're talking about right now, he's not guilty of.
There's a bunch of different things. So as far as
that's why, that's why the clocks are. Yeah, go ahead.
I was talking about the lawsuit in New York.
The sexual lawsuit?
No. The real estate lawsuit with assets.
Okay.
Fraud.
Has that been closed?
Yeah, $374 million.
Okay.
So. And that's kind of where then right after that the shoes came out and everyone, this is bullshit, and it's like,
you need to get back, man.
It's like, all right, but as far as the insurrection and shit, and then him trying to overthrow an election, obviously you being recorded saying that, calling the Georgia General of Elections or Officer of Elections, whatever it was, saying that you need 11,000 votes, which is exactly what you needed. Doesn't look very good, but we'll see how court goes. Who knows? It probably won't even go to court before the election.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, all this is part of the circus that we're in right now. But so was hearing every day that Joe Biden runs a fucking mafia.
Do you think that this has affected how people that already support Trump view him? Do you think it's been because okay, so part of it. Okay, do you think that there's any part of the I don't know, because I don't want to apply it to Democrats, because that would be like basically the government is Democrats at this point. I'm not somebody that believes that necessarily, but so let's just say the government. Do you think that the government's intention specifically in this, like with all of the prosecutions, are to prevent him from running for office, or prevent him from winning, I should say, like to taint his image?
Do I think any or all of it? Like,
well, I guess
again, I think there's some people in the government that sure. Yeah.
So you think that's part of the motivation? So that's why. Hold on, because I want to link that, because that was my actual. I kind of put the cart before the horse on the initial question, so I want to make it clear for the audience. That's why I asked you, do you think it's affected anybody that supported Trump before all this shit? I think it's emboldened those people, so it's had the exact opposite effect. So if we do end up in a reality like what you're talking about, where we don't end up clarifying as like for specifically the like insurrection shit until after he's become president, that's a real problem, because if anything, it's actually like ignited the people that were already there before, that were getting to a point where I think they were kind of like apathetic in a way,
which is part of this whole circus, which is this is the judicial system. And when you're somebody like Trump, who's spent a lot of his time in court thanks to lawsuits, you know how to play the game.
He's familiar,
and you know how to kick the can down the road. You know how judges work and how they can postpone and reschedule and this and that.
Sure.
So, and then is it going to be too much of a distraction? That's on the board. So, but as I want to turn the question to say, what about everything about Joe Biden? Are those not narratives to go ahead and make him to go ahead and prevent him from becoming president again?
We had these narratives with
was this real quick, was the whole oversight committee on Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. And then when it came out that there was zero evidence and actually the witnesses were liars and informants, or spy or whatever, that nothing came out from it. Was that not all something to go ahead and paint Joe Biden as corrupt, as evil, as someone that I mean, did that not come from Matt Gaetz?
I mean,
did that not come from Marjorie Greene? Did that not come from Lauren Boebert? So that's sitting politicians going and spreading these false narratives and lies.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that you have people on the left and people on the right who are both irate at the other side for obvious lies. I think that the whole rope a dope and game that everyone's trying to play as far as in the media and politicians has affected both sides. So I think the radicals on both sides are going to stay with themselves. Where like I'll get to like what you're saying as far as like the whole base, I can just speak from my experience, from my experience, and my my environment and my pieces, right? I have seen less Trump flags, less Trump everything than I have in the last 10 years.
Okay.
I think talking to customers, which I'm in homes all the time doing HVAC, I've never shy away from the conversation.
It's a taboo, brother.
But it's not that I bring it up, but people always, they look at me and they go, "Oh, you're a Republican, so let me just spew." And then I go, "Oh, okay,
I love Biden, brother."
Politely rebuttal. And what about this? And then we get
slowly see their face, realizing they're talking to a Biden supporter.
Yes, all that kind of gone away. So again, it's as it's just gotten silent, and then it's the silence before the storm, as people like to say.
Yeah.
Or is it that people are waiting to see what happens? Because there is a lot where it's like, man, there's too much smoke.
Yeah.
And I don't know, unless you are as far as like,
here real quick, because I want to touch on the point you just made. Do you think some of like the correlation you're making has been due to the fact we've been kind of out of election season? So now that we're going to get back into election season really heavy, I don't know, man.
But we've been in it because of primaries, so we're still in it.
Yeah, but Trump hasn't been really competing. He's refused to debate anybody. He told DeSantis, he's like, "Hey, but I'm not even gonna fucking talk to you because why would I?"
But that's my problem with the entire base right now. Is what do you mean? How can you go through any type of outside of it just being a popularity high school vote like it was when he became president, and we all knew that's kind of that was kind of the argument. Is like, what do you mean you're not going to debate? You're not going to participate in what we need to understand where you're going to go? Is it because you don't want to stumble and say something you're not supposed to say?
I'm assuming that you feel like
I don't think they're going to debate.
What about Biden? What's your opinion on Biden? Because he didn't debate
too. Well,
you think he should have?
Well, there's no debate right now.
There's people that were running, and he could have debated them. He decided not to, and the Democratic Party supported him in that because they're like, "Hey, he's our incumbent, so we're not going to have him debate." I mean,
the presidential election, when it's the Republicans get their nominee, Joe Biden is a Democratic nominee, which again, I've been on saying that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind them trying to push somebody else, but when you look at the track record right now and what's gone on in office, it's hard to really say some numbers are numbers.
Yeah,
and they can be spun however, but they need a debate. Like even
Biden, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. So you think that the incumbent president shouldn't be, because that's the argument, and I think there's an argument to be made there that basically it's similar to like a champion, right? So the champion is going to face the challenger. The champion doesn't have to go face a number one contender to become number one contender to face the other number one contender.
No, yeah.
So I think there's some logic to that. I think that it's to ignore a real, I think, valid concern that a lot of Democrats have, like a lot of people who are left leaning have, that Biden's just not the best that we have to offer. It doesn't even really align with the views.
Lot of us,
the views that like the modern left have.
But that's kind
well,
of.
Hold on. But with that being said, I think that because a lot of the people in his cabinet are actually those kind of people, I think he has gotten some interesting things done. But yeah, Biden and his politics, I don't think actually represent the left. And then I just want to read this comment, then we can go. I don't think people care anymore. This election is a dud regardless. But then you can go ahead.
I feel that. I agree. What I think with the Republican Party is going to happen is what happened with the Democratic Party after Obama.
This might be part of the fucking plan if you're a conspiracy theorist, because you have Trump got people, hate him or love him, he got people politically activated in a way that was different, opposed to him, for him, whatever. So if this kind of election, that's actually an interesting point. Does feel like it's almost kind of like put in place to make the American people feel kind of apathetic and be like, what is even the fucking point?
Right.
And make them
the radicals, because again, your radicals are going to get out there.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, shit. I don't think I'm a radical at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm left.
Yeah.
But I'm going to vote. I mean, you right now you're looking at this as dud as this election is. This is arguably like our most important. You're talking about a major shift. You're talking about a war right now going on that if one side wins, we're on the other side of this war. So
what do you mean by that? So
there's zero debate right now. There's zero debate about.
Okay, let me just ask you a question. I want to be clear. So is there if you think Trump wins, do you think he becomes a dictator type deal? That's a lot of like what I've seen.
He's already mentioned how.
So you think he never leaves office?
Bro, he's already put out as jokes. Remember, these are all jokes. Everything he says is a joke. Trump,
he's a comedian.
Trump 2028. Trump 2032. Trump 2036. Trump 2040. And it's like, all right. Obviously, you're not going to live that long, but
that is pretty funny.
But what's your stance on? I mean, not what your stance, but what's your point? Then he said while he was in office, again a joke, that maybe he'll just try to make it to where he can run every election.
Plant the seed.
And
plant the seed.
Same guy who said he could kill somebody in the middle of the street and get it, and his base would still vote for him. Okay, he knows his base.
The thing is, but to a certain extent, all of these things, like specifically that, it's like, if you've talked to like some real hardcore Trumpers, brother,
he could.
That's what I'm saying. He's not lying. It's almost like you have to and this is the shit that actual Trumpers say. It's like, he doesn't lie. He fucks us over, but at least he doesn't lie.
How you've had a conversation about how you had people saying Putin would be better running this country.
Oh yeah,
than Biden.
Yeah.
And it's like the fact that that's where we're at is that we have a party that is supposed to be anti-dictator. Just 8 years ago, they are. On whatever they are being sold right now.
Okay, so I agree. Those are the people furthest from Biden. Even the people close to Biden, I think, are disenchanted with the option. Would you disagree with that?
No, I'm not going to disagree. But that's what. So that's where I'm kind of right now. It's like the left, I feel like, looks at this as if we go away, our American way's over.
Yeah.
I mean, you already see it, dude, man.
Well, a lot of the call to action here is to say, that's why I wanted to ask you if you thought Trump would be a dictator. But that's a lot of the call to action that I've seen from Democratic officials and stuff like that. Is saying like, this is a election for our freedom.
So I think that you have your true patriotic.
But hold on, because I want to hear your response. I'm sorry, I just want to add this and then I'll shut the fuck up. But I think that's a part of why people are, I don't know, looking at when you're, from a certain perspective, it looks like you're silencing Trump, or maybe RFK, which I have to look into.
The RFK one.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that. And a lot of that I think has to do with like vaccine information where people are like, he's dangerous, or at least this is the excuse. It's like the fucking cornflakes thing. You know what I mean? Where it's like they'll sell it to you because they're all salespeople. It's like it's like they're gonna say, hey, we're gonna shush all that shit up because it's actually best for you. Remember what you had to say, please, because now I didn't realize I was gonna get on a rant. But I'm just saying that the way that they'll sell it to you because they're fucking con artists is this is what's best for you. We're gonna shut RFK up. I don't believe that's what's right. Even Donald Trump. It's like I would like for the option to be there.
Right.
And the thing is, I'm ready to die on my sword type shit. It's like I believe in the people's right to vote. I believe in the people's right to. So if Donald Trump gets in there and then I look like a fucking idiot because he becomes, I have too much faith in the American system. And don't get me wrong. My grandfather, my entire fucking life, well, as a child, would always tell me anytime there's any conversation about politics, he wouldn't even get involved. He said, they're all crooks. That would be literally the thing he would always say. They're all crooks. They're all crooks. I don't give a fuck. They're all crooks. And maybe I'll get to that point where I realize finally, and I'm like, you know what? This is all bullshit. It was always set up to be bullshit. But right now, I'm still young enough to have an idealistic view of it where it's like, you know, I don't believe that our American system would allow it, hopefully, especially. I don't believe us as a people, even Trumpers, most of them anyways, would allow it to get to the point to where we have somebody that's just dictating. That's what a dictator is. It's just dictating everything for us. At a certain point, there's going to be an issue with that, even for Trumpers, because not everything that he's going to do is going to be in line with what they want. So I don't think any dictator makes any sense. That's why there has to be all these checks and balances. That's why democracy works. But now I want to let you go because I don't want to let you go.
You're good. But like on that, the thing is, I mean, everybody is against dictatorship. I don't think anybody that's ever elected a dictator expected to be dictated. I think that is dressed up really well. And when you sit there and you're again, it all begins with the fear monger, and the consistent fear mongering. So then you create an enemy. And once you create an enemy, then people get polarized against that enemy. Right. And it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen within a year or two. It happens throughout a decade. Right. And it's what they've done. And it's been going on. And then once you do that, the people who are now on your side, and you said that the other people are so evil that no matter what they say, no matter what they do is going to be wrong and evil. And then your way goes, dude. You're talking about people who want to talk about the Constitution, right? The constitutionalists. I'm a constitutionalist. That's fucking bullshit. Yeah. You're a Second Amendmentist. That's all you give a fuck about, and then be able to say what you want to say. But
so the first two,
but you don't give a fuck. But not even the first, because the first really hammers down how no law shall be passed that is based off of religion. So that is the First Amendment.
Okay.
So nice. When you push abortion, when you push gay marriage, when you push transgender, when you push the IVF isn't going to happen, which again, fuck you, because I can't have a kid with my wife without that treatment.
Isn't Alabama, by the way, didn't they just pass something that like it's an embryo?
It's an embryo. So basically, if it doesn't work, it's murder. You just killed the baby.
Oh, so that's why that's the basis of which they're not gonna.
Yeah, why would you? You're gonna get sued for murder? You're gonna get charged for murder because of fucking. Because
not trying to murder a kid, bro. That's not my style.
And then Florida's talking about picking it up.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And again, so don't give me the Constitution until you want to sit there and agree that we shouldn't pass laws based off of your Christian values.
I don't want to get off track, but now this is kind of because this is something I really struggle with. Is this specific? This is one of the law, like this issue is, and that's why it's a issue that they push all the time. So. Can't you make this argument out? Because I used to also feel that way, that you can't make that argument outside. I had this conversation with Kent. Go check Gates Open Media. Shout out to him. Go follow him. Gates Open Media. Go subscribe to his channel. A lot of good content. But I used to have this argument with him where I was like, I don't want to hear shit. You can't make this argument without using religion. I don't want to hear it because you can't make the argument without using religion. But then can't you just boil it down to, like, if you're not going to say soul, because that's what I'd always say to him, like, unless you're going to say that a fucking sperm has soul in it or some shit, which my sperm does have soul, but then you can't make the argument. But then can't you just say life? Or can't you just say it's a life? And then now, I mean, an embryo, that's probably like obviously the most extreme case, but yeah,
to that, the counter argument is, and it's simply this: we don't go off of the Bible version of life. We
do you prefer joints or blunts?
I quit tobacco like 5
We
years
could not
ago.
do this. And I
So,
can roll
like,
it.
I avoid them as much as I can. But
Oh, I
I'm
could
not
do
going to
that.
say no. To
No, I can do
whatever.
that. I honestly
You know
prefer
what I
joints.
mean?
I figured out last night. I was like, for sure, I prefer joints 100%.
But
Yeah. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
but no, like
now you guys know.
We follow the laws of science. Okay, we follow the laws of study.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to it, science says that it's not a life yet.
Sure.
Therefore, it's not murder. Okay. Then there are the cases that, again, in Florida and Georgia and in Alabama and I think Arkansas, Texas, maybe. I think Texas has the same. If you're facing, we're at 14, 18, 20 something weeks and your baby isn't going to make it, you're no longer allowed to get the baby removed. That's a medical emergency. What could happen is you can go septic.
Sure.
So it's like, that's unbelievable. Not only that, even if you don't go septic, you're looking at carrying out to full term a baby that you know has no life. What psychological effects are we fucking talking about here?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like to just pass all that away because well, the Bible says, and we know that's the only argument. The argument isn't ever that, oh, well, I mean,
but you can make that argument though.
Sure, we can fucking tongue in cheek and with our
not tongue in cheek.
No, yeah,
because at some point,
bullshit.
no. Okay, hold on, no.
Because
at some point it is about. Let me respond because I just want to and I'll let you get back right into it. But at some point, obviously, it becomes a life. You know, at some point, at some point, we do make that distinction.
Says it, yes.
Okay,
and then medical emergencies are medical emergencies. Sure,
and I agree with that. I think that there's definitely causes for abortion. I'm not trying to say that, but I think that, like I said,
a girl can get a period at 10 years old. She gets raped and she gets impregnated through that rape. Oh, well, that's God's will. She has to give birth. That's bullshit.
No, I mean, I don't think that like I said, problem with this. I think that we but I think that we
can't get that abortion.
But the thing is, we're talking about individuals. I agree. A lot of people, I say like fucking probably 60% of the people in America are probably like philosophically against their own government. So we're talking about people. I'm talking about people anyways, not necessarily just the government. Because I think that people is where it could end up obviously changing, hopefully at some point. So I think most people are not going to disagree with those extreme cases. And I think that's where we get caught up. If you're a Republican, you get caught up in this fucking conversation where it's like you're talking about some lady who's aborting kids at fucking 9 months, which like never happens almost ever, aside from cases where it's some extreme.
In a motel room is going to fucking to go through
Sure. And I'm saying, but as people that may lean to the left, you definitely, and like I said, I would consider myself center left. So it's like, I think sometimes we can get caught up in this argument emotionally, and we're arguing against the most like I said, like, which is reality. Like I said, I think that, but my point is, I think almost all the 50 states are going to look at Alabama and be like, what the fuck are you even doing? Most people, even Republican or left. So we're missing a lot of the common ground we could be finding here in this discussion.
And the common ground is basically
it's extreme issues, I think.
Yeah, but I think majority of America, like you said, agrees that, hey, there are the situations where it's necessary.
Sure. No, but that's my point. Yeah, 100%.
So the point is that when you're making a law in this country, because this is the United States of America, this is not Saudi, this is not Russia, this is not one of your countries that you want to fucking get a hard on over.
Yeah.
Okay. We base it off of, hey, listen, we're not making the laws for just me, the individual. We're looking at everyone as a whole. Okay. We have the freedom. Okay. And you're talking about a party that has always preached freedom, and all they've done is restrict. So what I think is, to tie it all back to our original conversation, I think that you have a lot of true patriotic Americans on the right that are that old school conservative that don't align with Trump at all. And look at what Trump is with Putin and all this shit, this fucking bromance with Russia as what it is, because they remember who Putin is. They're not this new age fucking 20-year-old who, hey, I get everything off TikTok and all that information that I've been taught is bullshit. That's America telling me that Russia was bad. Those are all because liberals have always ran this fucking country.
Well, hold on.
Bullshit.
Okay, but that's not completely baseless, because I think there's a healthy, which I think at this point, because there's so much information, I agree with you, has become toxic, but there's a skepticism with information that we receive in America. And I don't know if other countries share the same skepticism. To your point, I don't know.
Skepticism would be a country that has their own media outlet, which is something that Trump and DeSantis both said that we should have for them, but to where you don't have a freedom of press.
Okay, do you think that our media? Do you think that our media gets used for propaganda?
Of course, everything does.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
But propaganda also doesn't just mean control.
Okay.
It means narrative building. You're trying to put out your message.
But that's why.
But that's what a commercial is.
No, but the thing is, okay, but doesn't that sound?
Tide does that for their detergent. We're the best. Listen, here's a survey. They say we're the best.
Yeah, I wouldn't. But the thing is, like, there's a different expectation I have for my government. My government, I have like Tide's trying to sell shit, and they are kind of trying to exploit me. I think that the government is trying to exploit you. Don't get me wrong. I actually think that is the case. And I think this is probably the opinion that most Americans hold. And this gets back to the original point of the skepticism. But I don't think that's right. I don't think that's ought. I don't think it's ought.
Right.
Well, of course. Well, that's what we're talking about. Of course.
You asked me if that happens.
That's no, but that's my point. That's my point with the propaganda. But then you're like, but then I kind of felt like you were kind of like downplaying it. We're like, oh, well, that's what people do when they're trying to get their message out. Yeah, no, but like sometimes it's a lie. That's my thing. That's where propaganda is dangerous. Sometimes it's straight up a lie.
I think the lie. Okay, so.
And I got to read this comment here in a second. Go ahead.
Yeah, a little bit different interpretation of what we were talking about with. I thinking that like. Yes, narrative building happens on every news station. Yeah. Now, propaganda
in every country, probably.
Yes. Now, propaganda. Now, again, we know which station literally was dubbed and awarded every year at these awards as like the biggest lying news station. But I won't go into it. Okay.
They have awards for the one that lied the most.
They have awards for like all this shit. And yeah, dude.
I need to see. Yeah, we need to look at that. That sounds fucking hilarious.
So it's like a smack in the face. It's the one where
it's like the Razzie
Obama
Award.
would go and then like do a speech and like he would do the joke like he brought down the Lion King version of his birth certificate
Lord,
because they were on his long form.
Yeah,
but it's all fun and games. But again, yes, everyone knows that, dude. There are a lot of their shit are opinion pieces. But my point is, fuck, I'm losing the.
Well, no, you're talking about Fox. It's propaganda. No, you're saying they're the most guilty of propaganda.
But I'm just saying, like, yes, that's going to happen. Obviously, I don't think it should. That's why you as an American citizen, us as a country that has freedom of press and you're allowed to do so, you go back and forth, you go through all these options that you have to then use your critical thinking skills to then build your own opinion and understanding, because that's what we can do. You're not getting fed something straight from the White House or Kremlin over there.
In some cases you are though, right? I mean, I the thing is, I just don't doubt that. I
don't think that journalists are just out there bullshitting all the time. I think that, dude, again, listen, man, we got to think though. We got to think about the people.
Yeah.
Right. I think that a lot of politicians, I don't think that every politician is dirty. I think a lot of politicians are somebody like me who sits there and has a deep emotion and care.
Let me read these comments because I love what you're talking about, and I just want to keep the conversation going, so I know that we'll never stop. Hey, what about measles in Florida? Goofball anti-vaxxers are bringing eradicated diseases back.
No, and that's true.
I laughed about that like 10 minutes ago. So that's why I think I want to read it.
These motherfuckers who want to sit here, like, again, the government, yes, Trump fast-tracked the vaccine. For your information, it wasn't Biden, it was Trump. Okay, but rightfully so, you have to respond to a national threat, right? And then an international threat. You have to respond to protect your citizens. So do you overreact? You bet your fucking ass. You as a parent, you overreact about shit.
Sometimes,
it is what it is, because you want, hey, we got to make sure you're safe before. It's better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
Now
it's like when they touched the stove and then didn't get burned bad, you still are like, what the fuck is wrong with you, kid? Don't ever do that shit ever again. Are you fucking stupid? That's how you talk to them. Just kidding. CPS.
But see, listen, but like you have to, and then yes, were there missteps? For sure.
Yeah.
But it saved lives. And then you can sit there and say, well, there are side effects of the vaccine. We're going to find out. Again, you're talking about something that attacked the respiratory system. You're talking about something that yes, made people very ill, and how many of these deaths afterwards were side effects. Vaccines are not to be 100%
in some
safe proof.
And by the way,
there are going to be people get sick after get vaccinated.
I don't know how I feel about this whole discussion, but I will say some pushback that I've heard is that even from So like things that get attributed to the vaccine injuries also could be caused from just having COVID itself.
Yes, that's what
So
I'm
therefore,
saying.
Yeah,
like
I just want to make it more
it-
clear,
it-
brother.
long-
You see how I
my
made that
bad.
shit real concise.
Yeah.
No, I'm
You
playing
do a
with
lot
you. You're
better
good.
job of that.
You're good. No, I love it. Go ahead if you remember where you're at.
Yeah, no, so again, I think Trump did the right thing there. The inflation, well, yeah, dude, we had a national shutdown. Now, again, if Republicans wouldn't have done everything opposite of what Obama wanted, and we would have used the diplomacy, then we would have passed his basically, I don't remember what it's called, but I call it the rainy day fund, where basically it was, hey, we're going to go ahead, slightly increase taxes, so that way we can have funds put aside for
in case any crazy shit happens.
Case another, because like I think it was a bird flu or swine flu at the time.
Oh yeah,
and it was basically a response. Now we didn't get hit hard with it, so we didn't need to.
Yeah,
but it was like down the road.
Gotcha.
So had we done that, we would have had an infrastructure put in place.
Sure.
We didn't, but people needed money. So yes, we put out a stimulus package, and we do it a few times. That's untaxed money. What happens with that? Inflation will go up. That's obvious. It was a warned that's going to happen. So I think there's a lot of things that came from that I'm not going to put on Trump. I'm going to put on just the circumstances. But what's funny is Trumpers, like Trump himself, uses that shit against Biden when it's like, really, dude, like it was a good response. You have to. It's the government's job. So my point is that I think there are a lot of people like me that really care and really care and really care.
Oh, this, yeah.
Like, I'm going to get into politics. I'm going to become a politician.
Gotcha.
I'm going to become a politician. And then, like, they get in there and then they're just called crooks. I mean,
two things. People like you. Do you think that would you have any interest in being in politics?
I would love to.
Okay, so why
not let me?
Okay.
She knows I would be. She says you would be murdered. And I'm like, probably.
Why wouldn't you? Let's just say, okay, so let's say that wasn't part of the reason you weren't doing. Otherwise, do you think you would? If Lauren was in your life, would you do it?
If I was allowed to without a law degree or without I wouldn't get voted in. I have no good background. I
mean, who knows, man? If you just inspire the people, brother.
Different life, fuck yeah.
Okay. So all right. Well, that's fine. Because I mean, I would say maybe now I would have
people saver.
But the thing is, I question how much how would you do that? You know what I mean? How would you? I'm not trying to make it uncomfortable. You don't have the money to do it, right?
Oh well, run? Yeah, no, I don't. And
okay. Hold on. What? Time out. So that's going to be my first point. You're saying people like me, people that are just like they're passionate and they want to help people. Well, already there's a ton of those people that are written off because they don't have the background. You already written yourself off because of that.
Though. And then those are probably your politicians.
Sure.
Which again, that's a fucked up thing that we shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Politics really should be all about the money, but it is.
Yeah,
we get that.
I think we agree on that. Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm just as negative as I think at times of people.
Sure.
I don't think everyone's bad. I just think that we have a lot of dickheads, which make a small minority, but they're the loudest assholes. And
it's the vocal minority. Right. That's a common phrase.
And that's your social media. Yeah. What I've realized through my passings is that a lot of people have given up on social media. They don't even use it anymore because it's just a cesspool.
Yeah.
And it's like I get it. There's a lot of nonsense, but that's where back to the thing. I think that the radicals are going to come out on the right. I think a majority of the left are going to come out. And then I think that moderate right is going to sit there and do what the left did after Obama and not come out because they didn't want Hillary, but they weren't convinced enough against Trump.
I wonder. Yeah, I think that's interesting. I'm not as confident that they don't want Trump, though, to be honest. We got a few comments. So we really don't have freedom so long as capitalism is the primary system in this country. There will not really be freedom.
Meaning what, though? Financial freedom? Right.
Yeah. So let's get a response. We're meaning what? Do you mean financial freedom there? Literally, polio was eradicated, but only with mass vaccinations. These extremists do not care about poor children.
Which apparently
Paul run. I don't know if that's you should run away or if you should run for office. I think it's run for office. Just kidding. It's definitely run for office. Unfortunately, we live in an oligarchy. Trump probably gonna win. Biden messed up Michigan with the Muslim vote.
Ooh, that's
all right.
Interesting.
Yeah. The oligarchy thing I definitely agree with, and that's the money thing though. As money is like the decider, money equals power. So yeah,
capitalism.
yeah. Here you go. Yeah. So I mean, pretty interesting thread there.
Which I'm always interested in the libertarian view. And again, I love my cousin very much, and I know.
Yeah. Shout him out,
Tyler.
Okay. Yep. Fuck with him. Yeah,
I don't know where you're at this point, but I know that there was a point. But
yeah.
I don't understand the whole like, well, we should privatize, where it's like, okay, if you think shit's corrupt now,
yeah,
it's going to be very corrupt with fucking privatization. If you have private hospitals and prisons and police offices, police stations, fire stations, all that's private and just owned by certain individuals. There's much easier way of getting.
I think what we're getting to here when we're talking about capitalism, and you're talking about what you're talking about, like it's going to be, if it's private, it's going to be corrupt. Damn, what was I just about to say?
I'm crazy.
Yeah, no, not that you were crazy. But I guess as long as profit motives are the primary motive, because then your motives are to like basically squeeze as much as possible out of this, whatever it is, whatever we're talking about in this case. And that's why I think a lot of people like the idea of like healthcare being socialized. Even people who aren't quote unquote socialists like that idea. It's because of that I'm fucking this up. Here, you go ahead and you get back on your shit. But that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, we've talked about it ad nauseum at the point, but I never think that it's off limits. Okay. The way that I think we should go is just, again, you have to put some sort of market caps, not to where you're going to limit wealth to per se, but yes, you're going to limit wealth.
Yeah.
You're going to allow people to become extremely wealthy. Again, I think people need to go back to basic math and think about how much money $100 million is, how much money 80 million, or how much money $1 billion fucking dollars is, and how it's impossible to spend it. And how it's impossible to go ahead and circulate. We need to go ahead and put the money back into the workers. When this country thrived is when workers were making more of the income. And it's like we need to get back to that. Again, if what's wrong, and again, it would be socialism, but what's wrong with making grants for businesses, getting a small business easier to access and making it more money?
Well, I think when you have the opportunity to have these ideas, like that's why I think, in my opinion, Trump got people activated, and then before him, there's a portion of people that really got activated by Bernie Sanders. I think,
on the other end, up, bro.
And and this is my thing. I think, and at that time, I remember being really disenchanted with, because I was passionate and behind Bernie Sanders, and then I remember him saying that, kind of when he was gonna step out of the race, one of the things that he said, now looking back at it, was really wise, which is why everybody fucking loved him to begin with. But he said, even if this is not verbatim, but even though I'm not going to become president, these ideas that we're able to talk about and things like that, it'll spark these ideas in people that are coming, that are younger, that are going to be politicians in the next 10, 20 years. It'll inspire them, and just one of them being able to rise to the level of president at some point, he will have made a huge difference just by being able to, once again, what we were talking about, where Biden's not debating. And to a certain extent, like I said, I get that from him being an incumbent, but that's where these kind of like the marketplace of ideas, quote unquote, really gets hampered, because you limit the opportunity. People stand on a stage with millions of people watching, and more millions of people are going to watch clips from this, how the internet works now. And people just get exposed to ideas that otherwise maybe they wouldn't have heard argued in such a persuasive way where they can understand. Like I said, we really get to talking to people. There's people that I know that support Trump that I've had conversations with about socialized healthcare, and they're like, I could actually get behind that. That kind of makes sense to me.
But you can't get behind that and then vote that way. Like that's what blows my mind, is because it's like, you're voting against that.
Well, that's if you, well, I mean, it's just, the thing is, it's not just,
it would never
and it's also not a one issue thing who you're voting for.
I get that. But when you think about, okay, what's your biggest gripe in this country?
My biggest gripe? that would probably be close. That would probably be close. Probably healthcare would be really close.
Dude,
So,
I still don't have insurance because I'm not paying $400
I can say
a month.
just from like just situations I've seen to think of people having to be concerned with that in the wealthiest country in the world, as far as like, you know, just being able to get healthcare. I mean, it's really that simple. You know, yeah, that's that's a wild thing.
It's absurd. And then to think that if you don't have healthcare, let's just say, and you have a lump, you can't go get that checked out, because if you do, and then it's something when you go get insurance, well, that's pre-existing condition, baby. They ain't gonna get covered.
Yeah, I don't know if that is that still the case, because I mean,
Obama put it up. And
he changed
it out.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
I don't know. Biden reversed it, which if he didn't, that's fucked.
Yeah, hopefully. Let me get these comments because libertarians, because this was funny as fuck. Libertarians would be okay with people dying at the street. Cold-hearted folks. Healthcare is one example of terrible, unequal, vicious systems. Yeah, agree with that. 1 billion is actually unimaginable in reality.
It is unimaginable, but like to think about. Okay, so we got healthcare. All right, so we know one side really wants people to have affordable healthcare. The other side hasn't given a fuck and benefits from it not.
Yeah.
Education. That's another gripe. You know, one side wants to go ahead and put more funding into education. One side wants to keep taking funding out of education and put it to private education, which only benefits the wealthy, people who can afford private school tuition.
Yeah.
When you look at pay equality,
I don't want to cut this, brother, but we got other shit we got to talk about. I know. We're vibing. We're vibing on this comment on this topic for too long. This is what fucking living off fucking cornflakes get you.
But have you ever I'm still waiting because everyone I've asked, I've been told no. Have you taken a poll as far as like who you're voting for yet?
No.
So where in the fuck are these numbers coming from?
I mean, do you think that they're fake? Is that what you're suggesting?
I just think that it's okay. For example, I've done probably, let's say, 30 people.
Mm-hmm. You've surveyed, you've polled 30 people.
I've surveyed 30 people. 0 people told me that they've taken a poll.
Yeah, but 30 people, that's not that loud. That's not loud, right?
But how many people are we surveying, and where are they coming from?
Well, my thing is, it feels like
doing this survey,
brother. It feels like a lot for you because you're one person and you got another job and shit. But yeah, 30 people just in your own city is not shit.
Yeah, but in retrospect, bro, if it's that many people, are sitting here doing that, then at least two people. I mean, I'm talking about not just people I know. I'm talking about customers. I'm asking, like, you're 68.
I don't think that is a given, to be rather honest.
You see, no, but again, it's
just not a given in my opinion. I feel what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I get your point.
It's like, okay, the approval rating is what I forget what it was. Not high, low.
Yeah. Oh, you want to get into buying? That's one of the things.
Well,
let's get into that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Nice segue, brother. You did it on accident. I love it.
But like the whatever it is, it's like, okay, but based off of who? Because my approval isn't that low.
Your approval isn't that low?
My approval is not that low. So again, I want to, the people I talk to, I mean, there's up and down. I mean, is your approval that low?
Of Biden?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I approve of him. Yeah.
But do you disapprove?
I mean, so with this question, we're not really taking into consideration the other options, right? So we're just like, it's just really judging him. To say that I disapprove of him isn't to say that I'm stoked about other options. So it's like, yeah, I would say I disapprove of him. Yeah, for sure.
Why?
A myriad of reasons. I think that in that position, I think there's been many times that he's been just weak, and I would like a little bit stronger of a and I mean liberal leader. I would like to see what really we could do with that, with a honest, ethical, liberal leader. You know what I mean? Like, I think Obama, I guess, is the closest we got to that, but there's obviously a lot of questions with I think there's always going to be questions. We're talking about like one of the most interesting jobs in the world, if you know, that's an understatement. So there's gonna be decisions to be made. There's gonna be like some moral gray areas.
So how much? Okay, I just,
also old as fuck. So from that standpoint, old. Well, no, but the thing is, that's a concern when people who are conservative point at the like possible like cognitive decline. I don't think that that's like completely. Don't be wrong. I do think it's a little like it's a little gross because I mean I think people exploit it, but at the same time I think it is a honest conversation he should be having. That's why I've had this conversation actually with my mom, who's pretty politically activated, where I was saying like the legacy of Biden, and I still hope this is the case. I would respect Biden so much more, and my approval would actually go through the roof if he made a selfless decision and decided not to run for president, honestly. Now, maybe he thinks he's on point, but what I'm seeing doesn't look like he's on point. Definitely doesn't look like he's ready to be president of the fucking United States. So I just wish that he would make, like, that would be a beautiful way to end your presidency.
All right, Elizabeth Warren, step up.
Like,
who? Like they're not going to vote in Kamala.
Oh yeah,
Gavin Newsom's not going to pull.
What the fuck is going on with this?
So I get it. Yeah. As like the age thing, I get. As far as like,
well, I mean, and it's not just the age; it is the actual cognitive
what can you
issues.
Do really?
Yeah,
things that you try to do get voted down. So it's like,
yeah,
I get it. So like his stance with the student loan debt. Going against the Supreme Court decision.
But part of him not being inspiring is why I think we don't see, like, when people were like, we're going to see a red wave, that was a expectation that Trump was going to activate, you know, like there's going to be some kind of like, yeah, there's going to be some kind of, well, no, you're totally right. It didn't happen in that way, but I think that is plausible.
Bro, they've lost seats.
I know, but this is my thing. I think that is plausible. Do you think that that's not a plausible, like when, for example, Bill Clinton was president, and obviously he's hated now, but when Bill Clinton was president, there was a lot of like kind of just general support. People felt confident with him as a leader.
Social media at the time, I don't think it would have been the same. We have to look at now as a whole different. Bro,
no, but well, okay, but hold on here.
Everything you do is polarizing.
Let me push,
bro. I go on X.
It could be polarizing, but it could be polarizing, but that's different than feeling vulnerable. But, I think people feel vulnerable if what we have to offer as our best is Biden. It makes us feel vulnerable as a country.
So one of my strengths and one of my weaknesses is my stubbornness. Okay.
Yeah.
If I wasn't as stubborn as I am, bro, I would flip.
You might need to listen to me on this.
When I sign on X, bro. Everything I see, thanks Elon, you fucking prick. Everything I see is anti-Biden, bro. I gotta scroll to find dolphins. I'm like, dude, I comment on more dolphin shit than I do anything else. So it's like, what the? And I don't fucking comment anything pro-Trump. So why is everything I see anti-Biden and pro-Trump? So it's. Like,
I watched a documentary on this. Supposedly, it's because you're more likely to engage with something that's against what you believe. So if it's something that's anti,
Facebook is giving me what I want.
I feel
Instagram's giving me what I want. They don't say that like, hey man, we keep giving you like
you might feel that way. I don't know.
People out on this
tonight when you get on Instagram, really be conscious of that, because I the documentary applied it to Instagram as well.
Okay, I will.
But definitely one of the things that they said was like one of the tricks of social media and why they're saying it's unhealthy is because they'll feed you things that are so directly opposed. So you'll get like this view of the world that's very adversarial to your own view. That's not realistic because you're getting fed it because you'll interact with it more.
Okay. I'll tell you exactly how mine goes. Mine goes Daily Show shit. I see some Shane. I see some like, I then see a bunch of like CNN, MSNBC, which is obviously, and then bro, every third or fourth is a LeBron James, and it's not like ESPN. It is like some like LeBron.
Yeah,
James
but you love LeBron.
But that's my point.
Oh, okay.
So it's like
you want more LeBron.
I'm seeing things that I like, so I'm like, all right, bro.
Oh, I see.
But my thing is, I think that a lot of things that Biden's done well isn't dressed up as done well.
But I don't think another leader couldn't do what Biden's done. To be honest.
But one of my issues, but not the counterpoint right now, or count. You know.
Well, no, if we had another, but no, if we had somebody else that was
shit. What he's done so far.
I got some comments. You could go ahead. I actually got some hella comments I got to get to because I was trying to find. I'm gonna show you guys the map real quick. I was trying to find it. So local elections are won by like 50 votes or less sometimes.
Yeah, which ours is fucking corrupt.
There are 500,000 homeless people on the streets any night in the U.S. Under Biden, housing has become even more inaccessible. I think that's definitely true. People, I mean, we can even say this area. We know bad people have been priced out of this area.
Well, yeah, but when did the market change?
When did the market
at
change?
The end of Trump, like right
maybe
after
I don't know. Maybe. But either way, both Biden and Trump are unacceptable. I personally agree with that, but I think Paul is acceptable, but not loving that you're accepting it. Type is where you're at, right?
Yeah,
Biden's acceptable, but you're not like in love with him.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not a Biden fan. I'm not gonna fucking.
Well, but you wouldn't say he's unacceptable. I take it from our conversation
Yeah,
here.
I don't think he's unacceptable.
Okay.
Just
That's interesting.
Based off of this again.
Yeah.
Where like my grandfather, where he goes overboard with his Obama thing just because that's who he is and I love him. But
yeah,
he wanted Obama to be more left. His issue was that Obama tried to cross the line too many times and play friends, and that they weren't doing it.
Yeah.
And it took his second term to then be like, you know what, I'm going to do what I want now. And it was too late by that point.
Yeah.
So it's like Biden's been doing the same thing. He tried to play, diplomacy. Okay, come on, let's pass this bipartisan bill that we've all worked on. That's going to open up avenues for our law enforcement down at the border.
I'm just imagining his diplomacy. It's probably hilarious. Come on, guys. We got to get this passed. Truck, rocket, spaceship.
Whatever aid, whoever it is that did it, okay, under his command, tried to get it done. The Republicans said no and they flat out went on Fox News. They went on Newsmax, all this shit, and said, if we fix the border, that would be bad for Trump. What the fuck? So now he's pulling the executive order. He pulled the executive order on the student loans. So it's like he's starting to say, hey, if you're not going to play ball with me, I'm going to have to go ahead and pull this. Now we can say it's for the election.
Bow.
Right.
Love it.
Right. Of course.
I love you got there, brother. Yeah.
But okay, let's go through history of presidents. Okay.
Well, but the thing is,
but 3 years has gone by and he said enough's enough.
This doesn't seem like I feel everything you're saying, but it's like that's where I agree with what we're saying here in the chat, where it's like that's just not acceptable. It shouldn't be acceptable for this country, which is supposedly the most powerful country in the world. As citizens, that shouldn't be acceptable, in my opinion. It's like we should be able to get some stuff done, and I'm not saying that he's completely responsible for that. I think there's a lot of people that are senators and that need to be voted out, that are pieces of shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So I'm definitely not trying to say that there's no culpability there.
But to that and to the red wave that was supposed to come, and to the whole polls and all this and who's going to win, and Trump's polling to win. If you pay attention to the local elections right now,
God, I got
dude,
look at this. LOL spaceship, lying dog face, pony soldier. That's the Biden shit. He starts just reciting fucking Winter Soldier lines. Winter Soldier had a whole list of things that he would list off or whatever in his head. Yeah, that's fucking Biden. He just randomly
he's not a winner, and I don't know. And the left has done a bad job at putting forward anybody else. That's been the main problem with that.
And of course, there's inspiring leaders over there.
Yeah,
like let's see here.
Listen, go ahead. Push AOC. The right might hate her, but a lot of left loves her. And if you push, things,
well, and also at that point, if you put if you're seeing her as an example, then she has an opportunity to try to meet people at certain points. Where it's acceptable.
Give her a fucking new imposition. Something.
Whatever, do something.
Get Pete Buttigieg. Okay,
let's see.
Gavin's, getting his, but no, like if you look at the local elections, and like in the Congress and the Senate, the left has flipped seats. So if you pay attention to that and you think about that, that speaks a little bit. I think that there's a lot of I think that the left is going to win. Do I think that Biden is the best president? No.
Are you familiar with Dean Phillips? Minnesota.
The governor. Yeah.
Congressman,
yeah.
He's
the old dude.
No, he's not that old. Here, I'll post that up for you.
I like he's the guy that always talks shit about DeSantis.
Oh yeah, he talks. He talks
shit.
Facts. No, I fuck with him a lot.
Them giving free lunch.
That's why I'm like honestly,
bro. How
this dude right here?
Why? Yeah. Oh no, the older dude, but I know this guy. Yeah,
this guy's cool as fuck.
He's cool.
Yeah, I fuck with him.
Why would
honestly, Dean Phillips, that would be who I would say. I've seen him talk maybe 5 times, and I could see like him pushing his ideals.
You can't make sure he doesn't have skeletons for it.
Well, the thing is, bro, come on, you're talking about fucking Gavin Newsom over here, brother. I mean, anybody point him out.
I said that they put him up there. I'm just saying. That's what I've been saying. I don't think they've done a
No,
bad
I agree.
job.
I'm not saying, I wouldn't even say like pick him blindly. I would say put him on the stage. I think he could stand toe to toe with whoever. But yeah, I think if you had if Biden were to which I don't think at this point you would even have debates. I think it would be a situation where they just appointed somebody and it would be somebody that took Biden's place. That's what I'm saying. None of this sounds like democracy. It's sick. But either way,
are we?
Yeah. But I like us having this conversation as, like I said, left-leaning people. If you put these people on the stage, Gavin Newsom, if I have issues with him, still I think he's a capable speaker, and it would be a good look. AOC, if you had fucking Dean Phillips, like Elizabeth Warren, like this would just be like the left would look powerful because all of those people have interesting ideas and can articulate them in interesting ways. If you have that in contrast to what we just saw from the Republicans, it's a missed opportunity. And like I said, it would have really been a beautiful thing for Biden's legacy. I think looking back on what he was able to get done, that would have been an interesting handoff at that point. But we may have missed that opportunity. Now, like I said, I think it's just going to be some appointed person, which hopefully they pick the right person. But I think if it's anybody's I think it's probably going to be Gavin Newsom because I think low key they've been pushing it forward a little bit.
That was the whole debate thing with DeSantis. That was that was the preview for 2020.
And he kind of shit the bed a little bit with that one. I thought he was going to smoke DeSantis's ass.
Yeah,
but they
tried to play so like
they were not fair to him. That was a fucked up debate. That was one of the most
He walked in there with his hands tied.
He was even like laughing. He's like, these motherfuckers are asking me some crazy questions. But especially compared to like just the alley-oops to fucking DeSantis. But I did still expect more from him because he's been just so capable at other points. Here, let me just get these. So we all have the Kardashians forced upon us. I'm not sure if we're talking about Kardashians running for office, but I could see it being a thing.
Kim K going.
That might be happening. Yeah. By the way, I saw her. She was on while I was out here editing, I had WrestleMania like 24 playing over here. And she was randomly on it. I was like, what the fuck? Kim Kardashian was on WrestleMania?
Taylor might be able to pull it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, no, there's some interesting. If you want to go the Trump level, where it's like, okay, we want a liberal celebrity figure.
Nah, bro.
The Rock.
George Clooney.
It'd be The Rock, brother. What are you talking about?
George Clooney, who's actually ran a country in Africa.
Doesn't even fucking matter. No, it'd be The Rock. But either way, it doesn't even matter. I'm saying
The Rock's left anymore.
I think that you might be right.
TKO motherfucker.
But I think that I think the other option is more like that's a serious thing. Like I said, if you put together all the candidates that I said earlier, that would have been a really good look. But even if you did want to go the bullshit celebrity route, they still have better options than what we're putting forth on the other side. So yeah, but instead we're deciding the one option that I think actually puts us at risk. I shouldn't say one option, but definitely I think it's not a clear road to Biden winning. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. Again, so if you put some of these other people against Trump, I think it honestly would be.
But my point to like saying what he's done with like, hey, again, I don't know a better way to handle the Israel situation. Again, ideally you stop funding and you say no. But we have international law, okay, that we have to follow. Now we've done.
Well, what do you mean by that? How's that would not funding?
Like they're an ally and they're in the middle of war. Like I don't
know that you're obligated by international law though because then you could just not be allies anymore theoretically, right?
If you stop supporting them, then are you supporting Hamas?
No, don't support them. Don't support them. Aside from like maybe you still, Palestine, like I said, best case scenario, if you're being like the most, I think probably best leader possible. Yeah, you probably initially, honestly, I would have supported Israel personally because I think that there was a attack against them, an outright attack. There's no other way around that. So I think they did have a right to respond. I know this was a lot of the initial conversation, but at some point go ahead.
No, and we did give money to Hamas.
Yeah, I mean, in like humanitarian aid is going into Gaza for people, and then supposedly being taken by Hamas or whatever. But the intention is not for that necessarily to support Hamas as much as that's to support the Palestinian people, that live there, which I think is the right thing because those people don't have any. when you're ran by a terrorist, and just like even us, like how much say does fucking Paul and James have if Biden decides to wild out and fucking, I don't know, drop some bombs here or there and kill these people? Like none. So it's like if all of a sudden there's some kind of we're in a privileged position geographically and just being, you know, a superpower in the world. But somebody that's a little bit more vulnerable, like maybe Israel, I don't know. That's a very difficult position to be in. So as like what you were saying, as allies, I would have supported them 100% initially, you know, 100%, because you have to deter that attack. But at some point it becomes disproportionate and you're not even leaving a place for the people to rebuild. You know what I mean? Fuck the government that runs it. The people that live there, like you're gonna make it uninhabitable for those people. And then either force them to leave or you're gonna have people starve. I mean, just the worst horrific things you can imagine. I think we should be at the point of a society where we're actively trying to avoid those things. Where it's like cruel. I mean, it's
where
it's
are we
cruel.
not advanced enough to do so? Just to stop. But like I and that's my thing is, so I think Biden has done what he can. You don't send troops over there, okay? You give aid to Gaza. You fund Israel. You do what you're supposed to do and support your ally. It also gives out weapons that then we resupply to new weapons to our military. With Ukraine, same thing. You're looking at somebody who's going to become a NATO member, right? That was a thing. I'm saying that was a thing. They want to join NATO. Russia warned them not to. They were going to go through with it. And one of the promises was with not just NATO, but it was a promise with Chernobyl that if Ukraine, you know, goes ahead and basically betrays Russia there, that if there is ever a counterattack, we will aid them. We will support them. We will protect them. So
you know what's really interesting about this map I'm looking at, right? So I got the Biden approval map.
No blue.
no, there is. Well, I mean, it's white and like kind of pinkish or peach.
So everything's a swing state, right? Or red.
I think it's just the colors they chose, but there's actually, it says there's blue up here, but yeah, nothing's blue. So because I guess you would have to be 100 to be blue. But what's really interesting to me, and this makes me actually kind of want to look into this again, because I was kind of disappointed. That's another thing. I was disappointed with how he responded to the Hawaii. But this is really interesting.
Hawaii's the
one of the highest, 51% approval rate in Hawaii. So I wonder if there's things that maybe we haven't continued to follow. Well, maybe it even happened after the fact.
Yeah, and that social media didn't relay because it wasn't going to be all conspiracy theory, because that's what we were hearing.
Well, but let's not just assume that. But I'm just saying it's something you could maybe, like, you know, I think it is something that raises my eyebrow a little bit.
Right.
But also Maryland, New Mexico, California, these are the places where he has the highest approval rate, over 40%. And I mean, some of those states are actually, you know, pretty important states.
Right.
But then also in some of the important states, it's not great. So Florida, here we are, 33%.
Florida and Texas are not swing states.
Texas, 29%.
Not a swing state anymore.
Okay.
When I think that was kind of like the play to get everybody to move to Florida, was that if you get enough people, which they did, then there's no longer a swing state. And that's a good amount of electoral votes. Electoral votes. But,
well, and one thing I would say that is would be alarming for me if I was Biden, and this is only one poll, so maybe this isn't accurate. And this definitely isn't the whole story, but in almost every state it is going down, even the ones where they are fucking with them, aside from Hawaii, which it's went up 12%, but that's the only state I've seen where it's actually went up. Massachusetts is 0%, so it stayed the same, 45%. But literally almost every other state is like 13. There's some that are 31% decline, 40% decline. Oklahoma's a 50% decline. So I mean, I don't know. This is interesting. Definitely a lot of these roll, like fucking North Dakota, 53% decline. He's at 21% approval rate, according to this poll. So, but as you mentioned earlier, polls are kind of difficult. They can be a little tricky. This one right here is off Newsweek, so who knows?
But again, I don't disagree with the way he handled either situation. We haven't had American soldiers at risk.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So
I would disagree with how he's handled. I would like, once again, for him to be a little bit stronger it seems. Like I said, at this point, we're at just a disproportionate, insane massacre level. And it's like, what is even your goal at this point? I'd like to, and they said their goal is to eradicate all of Hamas, but I mean, at a certain point, with how many people you're indiscriminately killing, and now I mean they're doing a ground invasion, so and they've been doing it for a while, so you know, I guess they're being more precise than they were initially, but you know, I think at some point there just has to be, war's not acceptable. So responding in this way is only like acceptable, and it's not something you feel good about, but the only reason as a leader it is acceptable and necessary is because you were attacked. You know what I'm saying? So then it's like, okay, we have to defend that.
But at this point,
outside of that, violent action should never be acceptable because then, like, if we ever did that to anybody, we're being bullies, and it would be true. And obviously, and it has been true in the past. So
it's an issue. And yeah, I do agree that the funding is enabling.
Oh yeah, exactly. And I think that, to your point, I'm not saying that he has been a vocal, you know, I guess dissident to this, but then at the same time, you know, actions speak louder than words type shit. He's been supporting it with American dollars, but yeah, he has been thankfully somebody to speak some sense, and that has some leverage over Israel to have that conversation. And supposedly I read some stuff today that said that they might be coming to a ceasefire by next week, but yeah, we'll see. That'd be a great thing.
Why hasn't someone like Saudi Arabia or one of these rich countries around them that also share the same values and everything, try to get the people out? And then I don't know, man. I've heard a lot of this discussion, and a lot of people that are in the Palestinian camp would honestly take offense to that and say that
it's retreating their land.
You're forcing them to leave. So you're forcing them to leave, turning them to refugees again, which they already consider themselves refugees.
Live to fight another day is what you're doing. Come back.
But, I mean, we're talking about morals or ethics, right? So, like, from our perspective, that's not something that we would support our government being complicit in, right? Or would it be? Or are you like, it is what it is, we had to support our ally, somebody else stepped the fuck up because these aren't our allies or whatever? I'm trying to ask your position, I guess.
No, I would. Yeah. I mean, if I'm American, I'd let them get the people out and be like, hey.
Why do they have to get out, though?
I guess again,
that's their homes.
Well, how are we supposed to stop Israel without going to war with Israel? We're supposed to declare war. Like, are we supposed to threaten Israel with, hey, listen, if you don't stop,
we could do more than what we're doing, though, because we are like actively helping to fund it.
Now, would it need to be the UN or NATO that would have to come?
Our government's about to shut down because of this shit.
who would it that would be able to put sanctions on Israel? NATO or the UN?
Let's see. Who could? Y'all can see what I'm typing.
Because that's something like put sanctions on them, man. Fucking come down.
I mean, you could do like trade tariffs and stuff like that. I mean, but then you could just not give money. Why are you even? So you're like, it's kind of like a weird way of getting your money back.
I don't know.
Just don't give.
There has to be a way to punish genocide, but it is genocide. Like, there's no easy way to say it.
At present, there are 3 main authorities imposing sanctions: the United Nations, the European Union, and the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. Okay, yeah. So, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's tough, man. I think that you do have like some case that I think it was, it was an African country. I don't remember which one, but that they brought to in the comments, if y'all remember, and I'll look it up here in a second if you guys don't drop it in the comments. But yeah, there's an African country that actually brought a case to the UN about this, and they did find it to be like plausible that there was it was a genocide case, and they said that they did find it plausible. So I guess now it's like, hey, well, this now warrants an investigation, and that's a pretty interesting place to be in.
What else do we need?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting place to be in.
And like,
well, I mean, we could just not be supporting it though, Paul. You know what I mean? Like, I feel you. I mean, what else? Or I mean, we're doing some things, but it's like we're saying, like, what could like ultimately? I think the biggest impact would be the funding, right? I mean, I think that's the biggest issue.
Now what sucks as Americans is like, as far as voting, is both parties seem to
South Africa. Thank you.
But both parties seem to support Israel, right, more than left, but left still. So it's like no one's really. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah,
you have part of the left wing politicians that support Palestine.
Yeah, but that's where you get they're all crooks thing, where it's like, okay, they're all not that different. Where I mean, I feel you. You're saying they both support them, and that's sometimes you can it's like follow the money kind of thing. There's like it's a two-way street. I'm not saying we don't benefit from the relationship with Israel. I'm sure we make a shit ton of money off.
But as far as the Muslim vote, like either way, like both presidents, and again, you're not just going president, you're going party as much as president. So it's like both parties are kind of are towing the same line there. That's kind of
from that standpoint,
So it's like I don't know, but I mean, there is no easy way to say this. Like I said, it is genocide, and I feel like
I don't know if I'd agree with that, but we can get a whole other conversation.
Too many civilians dead.
Too many people are dying,
bro, and it's just military attack after military attack.
I don't know. I just don't
hearing the attacks on Israel.
I just the specifically genocide. That would mean like basically wipe out a ethnic group. And I don't know. I don't know that is. I don't agree with that. I think that I think genuinely they could want to wipe out Hamas, and I think that they're saying it doesn't matter the casualties. I don't know that they're making the decision like, hey, we want to wipe out all the Palestinians. They just are saying we don't really give a fuck if there's like where usually it's like there would be casualties of war and we would feel bad about them. I don't know. I don't think that they have that's part, you know what I'm saying? And so they're kind of indifferent to it, but I don't think that they're going with the sole intent of like, if that was the case, it would be like they would tell their soldiers, shoot everybody you fucking see, no matter what.
Not happening.
No, I don't think that is happening.
We're seeing reports where it's just tanks just turning and shooting at civilians.
Of course, of course, civilians. Once again, like of course they are. Civilians are getting killed, and there even are cases of people that are doing straight up war crimes and killing people indiscriminately. That happens in wars.
My question is how many attacks are Hamas carrying out on Israel right now?
Right now, I'm not sure right now because they're on their heels a little bit, for lack of a better term. But the thing is, they were committing a shit ton of attacks all the time.
It's the beginning of all this. But
and before that, and they were like, they were like people were when people talk about the fucking Iron Dome and shit, they're shooting fucking missiles over at Israel. Wow.
But
those boys were crazy.
But my point is, at this point, it's like, I mean, your enough civilians are dying to where it's like, all right, man, chill out. Like you need to pull it back.
I think we're in agreement on that.
Because it just seems like it's some backdoor way.
That was my point to begin with, Paul. What the fuck?
What I'm saying is
you fucking reversed me.
No,
try to pull a reversal.
No, I'm saying that it just seems like a disguised way of committing genocide.
Yeah, that's where we disagree. You're using that term. I don't necessarily agree with that, but let me get these comments, and then we'll try to get to a few more of these topics before we get up out of here tonight. 500,000 homeless Americans. Okay, yes. All right, I want to make sure I didn't read that before. 500,000 homeless Americans. We should be angry about this. No more funding to Israel. Israelis get housing, health care, free education.
You're saying that.
Jay did.
Okay,
South Africa, appreciate that. You're letting me know what African country it was.
Feel that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair outrage. Go ahead if you want to respond.
But we're not going to listen. I'm all for putting in an infrastructure of housing for homeless.
Yeah,
but again, how are we going to get that accomplished without just being labeled socialists? Like it has to get passed through.
Well, but at the same time, I think that could be part of the frustration from this comment. The 500,000 is we should be moving maybe more towards some kind of
Are we not taking the funding from the defense budget, or is it just coming out of we're just pulling from everywhere?
Well, okay, I think, but the defense, if we were running the country differently, which I'm sure this is what they would advocate, that defense budget wouldn't even be what it is to begin with.
Well, yeah,
so
that's fucking sure.
Yeah, so I mean, when you consider you could take like 30% or 50% of that budget and then solve hunger for the country.
30% of
like,
we could remove 30% of our defense budget and still be more than like the next 4 countries combined.
Well, and then imagine if you just and obviously this is the issue with government, and this is the kind of when you get pragmatic with it, the money wouldn't go to just necessarily like altruistic causes. I think we all know that. That's where probably our hesitancy is there. But if you could take that money and then allocate it in places that really made sense, that could make a huge, like that 30% could make a huge difference. And then to your point, we would still be, Yeah, and to your point, we would still be fucking, have the highest defense budget. So South Africa, and then the crazed Israeli leadership thinks babies are Hamas. They intend to wipe Gaza out. That is genocide. So they agree with you. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I would say I'm not saying whatever. You've heard my point of view on this, so I'm not saying whatever's taking place isn't gruesome and vicious. I just think when you get to the point of genocide, that's a very specific term, and I don't think it would meet that. But I guess they would kill Palestinians that lived in Israel. They're not doing that. There's some Palestinians that live there. Why wouldn't they just, if they're trying to wipe out Palestinians, they would just kill them. They're not doing that. So
are
Palestinians
free in Israel? Like free
according to Israel, I mean, they have equal rights.
Again, that's an ignorant question.
No. Like, I've heard people talk about this. I've heard a lot of people talk about this. I've read a lot of articles about this specifically, with where people I guess because it's positive, you could assume that it's coming from a Israeli perspective, which I guess it would have to, because it's their shit. But yeah, they say there's people who are Muslim and Palestinians that hold government positions and so on and so forth. So
last question: if you're Israel, would you not want to handle this better, just for, I don't know, the purpose of not creating further extremists against you, especially you in a region where you're landlocked around? Okay,
so two things. Either one, how valuable is land? Like I said, when we're at a kind of point as a society where we're kind of at a standstill, with land, for example. So throughout the rest of the history, people were constantly trying to expand their land, right? Like countries were going to war with each other, trying to expand. Now we're kind of at a standstill because of what we said earlier. We're like, okay, as a world society, we are all in contact with each other. There's like kind of like there's like a tension, you know what I mean? Especially between these big countries, United States and China.
Oppenheimer.
Yeah, where exactly. United States and China
blow each other up.
where you are sitting there and you're like, oh, we have the capabilities to go to war, but we're not going to, based off of society, quote unquote, right? So which is just basically some imaginary rule that we all come to this conclusion that this works best for all of us. So Israel's looking at an opportunity that is a kind of not to be callous, but it's a rare opportunity. They're in an open war now. It's not easy to, it's not easy to start those. And this is a group that they've had a contentious relationship with, and there probably has been. It's kind of like, once again, like I said, with China or United States and Russia even. It's kind of like you feel like they're just waiting for a reason. You know what I mean? Like they're just sitting waiting for a reason. They're like, somebody give me a reason to go to war with these motherfuckers right now. And so it's kind of like that with Israel and Palestine, where it feels like they were already kind of a pressure cooker. You feel me?
I just feel like we need to become a world of Spocks who just realize that, listen, leaders get mad and then civilians die. Everyday people die, not the leaders. They stay put. And
is that something that Spock said, or you just made that up?
I made that up.
Oh, nice. Killed it.
Spock is a person of reason.
You would agree with it.
Spock is a person of reason and logic. Now, again, he'd say that there's always a purpose, but probably, I don't know. I've never met the guy.
But he'd be like, nah, sometimes you got to kill motherfuckers.
No, for real, I don't know. I just feel like we need to be advanced. We need to just sit there and be like, hey, listen, let's talk this out.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we really need fucking innocent people dying? Do we really need people's real lives? Like this is think about your life and the shit you feel and the way that you live. Mm-hmm. And then tomorrow, while you're going through your shit, bombs just drop on you.
I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like that.
I mean, it's like, we're very fortunate here that outside of Pearl Harbor, which was not intercontinental, but we haven't experienced that. Mm-hmm. And it's like,
I'm with you on that, brother.
We as Americans kind of take that for granted subconsciously, I guess,
mm-hmm.
and not intentfully, to where it's like, yeah, man, we need to remember where we're at.
Somewhat sometimes that security gives you the ability to make what we were just talking about, like rational decisions, because you're not in a position where you're kind of compromised, because you are in like an emotional state. There are people could hurt you, you're in danger, all this. We have the benefit of being sandwiched between allies and things like that. So it's kind of like, think about, like, this would be the analogy I'll use, I guess. Like, if you had money and you didn't have to worry about, eating, like, how you're going to find your next meal, so on and so forth, working just to pay your bills that week, living check by check, then it would allow you to step back and not be in this kind of like survival mode and truly have like a ration. That's why I've had this conversation with many people I respect.
The moment.
Well, exactly. Where I start to feel like, it can get to the point of like being imperialist where you're like, we know better for you kind of thing. You know what I mean? And that's where, I tiptoe on that because I do think to a certain point it's rational because of what I just said. We're not in this kind of like survival state. And it obviously is just right to not fucking murder people, not kill people. Right. There's like no reason to do that in a civilized society that's acceptable. There's just literally no reason. So, so I mean, yeah. So with these situations, you would hope that we'd be able to be a voice of reason and a third party, and just to bring it back full circle, I think that's kind of like where we failed and where we've succeeded, I think, in here. Because I do think that Biden's done that. I just don't think he's been strong enough in that. Okay. So
you want more.
Yeah. So, and then, like I said, government maybe going ahead and shutting down again. I wanted to say, I looked this up already. So I'm going to pull it up for y'all, but government shutdowns, I feel like that's happened more in the past like 10 years than definitely ever in my life. But that's actually, well, I mean, that's not totally true anyways. So I pulled it up. The last time it's happened this much Reagan was president. So in the 80s, and any of y'all out there that experienced this, y'all let me know. But so 1980, 1981, 1984, 1986, they had government shutdowns. And for us, I think maybe we're just a little close to it. 2013, 2018, and then 2018 to 2019.
Back to back.
Yeah, but they went crazy. But it was only for like a day. According to, it was only a day.
Reagan did it 3 times. God damn, Reagan did a lot of wrong. And people love you.
Yeah. So I mean, but it's interesting. So government costs. This is interesting. $2 billion for 2013. $5 billion.
Well, this is.
Here's Trump. Trump was twice. What are you looking at?
I'm just looking at who controlled the House. The only one that did it with like his own house is Trump. Everyone else is the opposite. Well, not Jimmy Carter too.
Yeah, it's interesting. But then also ours were drawn out. So Clinton, 21 days. Obama, 18 days. Trump's longest was 35 days. And we might be about to experience one with Biden. Do you feel like the government's not working, like, correct? Or like it? Because this is what this feels like to me. It feels like dysfunction, and this is just another kind of, and I felt that way with Trump too. So it's consistent between Trump and Biden, which is why I'm not in love with those options. It's it just feels like, and maybe that's just a part of getting older, but you just start to feel like things are not as well put together as you thought they were previously.
Are you asking for my opinion?
Sure, yeah.
I think
that seemed like I didn't want to fucking have a conversation with you.
No, I'm joking.
My bad.
No, I think that we have politicians here in this country that got voted in based off of what they said on Twitter and just them aligning with a certain somebody, and then they got appointed, and then all they do is sit there and play fucking schoolgirl antics,
like little bitches,
in government, and they don't sit there and do what they're and handle the responsibilities. Okay. We're sitting here, and as much as we want to say that the executive orders are political ploys, the shutdown is. If you shut down, it's a negative against whom?
Biden. Yeah.
And who's doing the shutdown? You have the Speaker of the House, who was appointed because Democrats, you fucking idiots, voted Mitch McConnell out for impeachment, which they needed a few Republicans to side with them, and it was the few MAGAs, Republicans in the House, who sided with them, got him out. Then they appointed their basically puppet. And he's the one that flat out came out right after the bipartisan bill was passed and was going to go to the House. He said, yeah, that's dead on arrival. I got off the phone with the president, and he's talking about Trump. Yeah. And said that he told me not to go ahead with it. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? so that's a political ploy. That honestly, it's kind of treasonous. Like he's not your commander in chief. And you're going against your oath. Or I guess not if you want to look at the
I'm doing it in my best interest for the
what you
for the
believe is
country.
right.
Yeah, whatever. But man, come on.
Yeah. By the way, I wanted to point out, you guys can see it on the screen. In 1981, the government was shut down for one day, but it cost $80 to $90 million. How the fuck did that happen? Don't get me wrong. Like, we were closed for 16 days during Obama, and it cost the government $2.1 billion, and that's insane. But just to see this jump from 1980, where we were shut down one day and it cost us 700,000, the next year shut down 80 to 90 million. So I'm sure that has to do with why they're shut down and so on and so forth. And I'm not exactly sure how they're calculating that cost, but it is interesting. And
it's never good. It's never good.
Yeah, Trump's shutdown cost $5 billion. So it's just fucked.
We just, and listen again. I hope Americans are waking up and looking at who's trying to do their job in these positions and who's not, and vote accordingly. I mean, that's all we can hope. Again, that's both sides feel that way. Perception is key here.
Yeah.
We all have a different perspective, and I get that.
Yeah. Damn, you just said something that rang off another thing. Oh yeah, the AI thing. How do you feel about AI government? Like, I think we might have touched on it a little bit before, but there's another question I want to ask you here in a second. But first, I'm kind of curious now that we're saying that, like, we're talking about how dysfunctional this looks and how how dysfunctional it looks, and like how much it costs. By the way, $5 billion fucking last time they shut down the government. So
yeah, I don't think we should. Again,
how would you feel about that? That's theoretically. I'm not saying to make the decision, but I'm asking you, if that decision was already made, how would you feel about it?
I'll stand put with my decision, with my opinion on AI, and keep it the fuck away.
You don't love it, okay?
No, anything that is computer. I mean, again, is it
all right, man? Whatever, you scared of the computer? That's fine.
Okay, listen,
I'm not scared, bro.
These AIs, are they connected to any type of database?
Well, so yeah, I would say they'd be able to access data, and then they'd also be programmed. So they'd have to be programmed initially to be like, okay, have people's best interest at heart, kind of shit.
Right, Lex Luthor.
Love people.
Yeah, listen, Elon Musk is a real life. He's living Lex Luthor's life. We just don't have a Superman. Crazy.
Okay? He was going nuts. That's the saddest fucking part. Yeah. It's just Lex Luthor running fucking rampant.
Yeah, with no Superman.
There's just Lex Luthor with other Lex Luthors. Jeff Bezos also Lex Luthor. He literally, he's bald and shit. He's like trying to look like him, and he's getting swole and shit.
Bro,
I actually think he probably already does have a big ass mechanical suit. He walks around in sometimes.
Bezos?
Yeah. He's like, I wish Superman would if he ever fucking comes here. No, yeah, that is sad though, dude. We do need a Superman, man. We are the Lex Luthor fucking
LeBron needs
universe.
To become Iron Man. That's what we need.
God, you got a lot of fucking faith in LeBron James.
Hey,
I'm not so confident in LeBron. But either way, I think that that is interesting insight though, truly. Another thing that I wanted to talk about with the AI, so just to kind of bring it into that, is AI doctors. So I was looking at this ring that I think Apple's coming out with that's going to be able to read all your okay. Yeah, that's gonna oh my god, you trying to take a bite of that? Oh my god, that's hilarious. This guy doesn't want to take a bite of the burrito on camera. Oh, this country's fucking done. Men can't even take bites of burritos on camera. That had been the fucking thumbnail. I'd have redone the thumbnail, cut you out with a fucking burrito in your mouth. But no, my bad. I'm part of the problem too, because but yeah, let me actually pull it up. I have the Instagram thing right here. But yeah, there's like some kind of like ring from Apple that's gonna be able to read your blood pressure and all this kind of shit. With that, we're not to that point yet, but immediately made me think like, yeah, how close are we to just not even like really needing doctors and even to perform the surgery? And here, I'm trying to see if I can.
We don't need you.
Damn, it won't let me pull it over here for you guys to see. I'll have to find but yeah. So I want to know how would you feel about that? What's your confidence in that? I mean, sometimes though, this is my problem. Like even with the government, when I like really think about it, I'm like, I mean, really, how much worse is AI? I really do end up landing on that. I'm not in love with it.
No faith in humanity, but you do,
dude. It's like, okay, how many times are fucking doctors the thing is, this is wrong. And it's like you go to doctors, they don't know what the fuck it is, like you said, misdiagnosis and all that, make a mistake because they're drunk as fuck.
You got to eliminate the ego. That's the problem.
Hold on, but doesn't AI kind of do that in a way?
Lower the pay. Okay.
Hold on, but it doesn't answer that question. You just said your main issue was, hey, we have to lower the ego. Doesn't AI take the ego completely out?
Yes.
Solves that problem right away.
Much of an argument against that. Okay.
Yeah.
Outside of if AIs become conscious, then
maybe they would have an ego.
Then they know, like, hey, I'm smarter than you, bitch. Okay, I can tell you whatever you want.
Yeah, maybe they're right.
Okay. So
yeah.
No,
that's a good point.
I think, and again, this is just a high theory that I have thought of many times.
Okay.
If you lower the pay of doctors, okay, you're going to get less people who are in it for the money, more people who are in it for the
just love cutting people open,
who are into it to help and do the right thing.
Yeah. Sure.
But at the same time, you have to lower the cost of medical school, which there is a school that just did that. They have free tuition because a billionaire passed away, and that
was his one last wish.
It was to donate $1 billion to the school, so get out free tuition. But anyways, again, that would never happen. Okay, I get it, and doctors deserve a lot of money for what they do.
That's the thing. Yeah,
they deserve a lot of money for the
yeah. And plus, I mean, the idea would be that hopefully you attract just like really smart people, at least. I don't know, like really skilled people, because you're paying a lot. Now, I mean, whether in the intelligence comes an ego. Yeah, but then you have like somebody that's just like, oh, I just want to help, but they're kind of fucking dumb, and then they also don't know what they need to know.
Too. So you know, again, that's why it was a high.
That's why I just fucking have the robots do it. That's the problem that I have. I think that there are some things that it does kind of actually seem like an improvement. Something completely not emotional. That's another thing. You don't want somebody like coming in, they're doing a surgery, they were arguing with their wife all fucking night or some shit like that. They're distracted.
Listen, I trust doctors, but then I don't trust doctors. I like I say I do, and then I get in front of one at the hospital, and I'm like, you fucking
fuck no. Honestly, I know more instances of people dying in the hospital based off of something that happened to them after they went to the hospital, some kind of like fucked up.
My grandmother got staph, bro, and then it ate away part of her spine.
Well, you got to sit here. I only got to get into grandma stories because it's gonna make me emotional. Christ. But yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Actually,
they had this saying CHS. It's a thing about weed. It's cannabinoid something syndrome, where hypersomnia syndrome, where they say that there's receptors. The THC sends out a chemical that attaches to your receptors in your brain and blocks it, to where it causes extreme nausea and vomiting and all this shit. Well, wife was going through those symptoms. We went to the hospital, all this, and I've always said, don't lie to the doctor. Like, you don't lie to your attorney or your doctor, right?
Gotcha.
So she said, yeah, I smoked. So then what happened was they immediately go ahead and this is your diagnosis.
Oh,
and it's
wow.
like,
Yeah, okay.
Excuse me. And then they didn't test her stool. Excuse me. She didn't get a colonoscopy. She didn't get anything like that. And then we went to Fort Myers instead of Sarasota. And then they did test her, and she had a stomach infection or some shit. So it's like, yeah, she was just fucking sick.
Yeah.
And it's like, you guys instead label this bullshit. And I feel like it's because like they want to put some shit against weed. So they have something in a medical journal that is a side effect of smoking too much weed.
And it might just be the easiest thing. Like, I mean, I actually know a girl as well who had stomach issues, and the same thing. Went to the doctor, said that, immediately latched onto that as a diagnosis rather than ended up being something later on that she needed to have taken care of. So, yeah, I mean, some of that, the thing is, it's like, there's a saying, it's like, never attribute to malice what could be attributed to, like, I don't want to say ignorance, but something like that anyway. Anyways, basically not paying attention. So it's like, I don't know how much of that is that, and how much of that is just like kind of human error. And that's kind of like where I start to think like that's a place where if we have the opportunity to alleviate that, and there's still, and this is kind of like the thing that people always try to say when we get into these AI conversations, and there's like kind of this begging of, well, there's still going to be a place for humans, right, to like oversee the AI or something. And I guess that's where I'm kind of like, that's why I had the instinct to do that, but being aware here. I'm like, I don't know that if that is necessary, I don't know, but I think that is something that you really start to consider, that like where basically the thing is that I think that human beings, at least I'll speak from my own perspective, there's kind of this view of like there's an inevitable layer of like corruption anytime they're in some kind of position, whatever corruption means for that.
Everyone's against me.
Yeah, whatever corruption means for that. If that's a doctor, maybe that means, like you said, have a giant ego, maybe like be able to afford some kind of lifestyle that ends up taking away from the practice that you're doing or whatever. As a politician, you get famous, you get opportunities to take bribes and things like that to become more wealthy than your job could ever actually make you on its own. So I think that we have these ideas, any position that people are in, that there's like I said, this kind of like inevitability to fall into some kind of corruption. And I think AI, if you're being hopeful, hopefully there'd be an opportunity to get away from that, where there's not this kind of like profit motive, like what we talked about earlier, like some things that could never be ran really in the best interest of people, as long as the main motivation for that thing is to be profitable. Because a lot of times that's going to go against like the best. Let's even just use it as service, something that's not like going to like necessarily hurt you. Like a restaurant's not going to have the most people on staff that can make it the best experience for you. If they can give you a similar experience that you're not going to notice because the difference is negligible, with less staff, so therefore they can make more money per whatever table or whatever. So it's like this kind of profit motive exists in every single industry that exists in this country. And if you had anything to say, I'll let you get to it, then I'll get to these comments.
I'm just saying that I would feel like AI.
Yeah, no, it's tough.
Just leave it out. And again, attribute that to like a fear of not being the most intelligent species on the planet.
Well, you know what I fear more than that? I fear people not being able to support themselves, and people they're not being a place in society for human beings that otherwise had some kind of like purpose, because this purpose is taken up by
dude, factories going away from an assembly line of employees and going to an assembly line of machines is
devastating. We've already seen that happen in
towns, man. It's killed towns.
Well, we've already seen it before this era of where we had a factory shutting down, and how just that happened. So we already seen the effect of these jobs going away. So it's not going to be any different, because that business continues to be there and thrive. As long as the same end result is that the people aren't able to go there and make money anymore, then yeah, for that community, that's going to have a huge impact. And once again, we've had this conversation. I know that we're on the same page on this, but when you get down to it and how society is currently set up, there isn't any, aside from like a personal one, personal morals, there's no obligation for your employer to employ you if it doesn't lead to the most amount of money that they can make. There's no obligation for that. There
needs to be an obligation.
And I'm not,
but
I think there's some kind of conversation to be had there. Yeah, for sure.
But you're right.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the danger. Once now this is a real possibility now, before it wasn't based off obligation that they gave you a job. It was based off necessity. Now, once you take away that leverage from the people, where now it's no longer a necessity.
Right.
Well, yeah, we're talking about, AI.
Now, as far as like stuff like the where we're going with technology right now, and not the future, but right now with like this like Ring, the fucking goggles, all that. It's like one question I have.
Oh, dude, I want to get those so fucking bad too. Seriously, they're gonna get me, bro.
Yeah. One question I have about the Ring, which it's funny how like Apple stole a patent. And then got like smacked on the wrist with how much money they made off the Apple off the watch.
Yeah. Okay.
And then it's like, and then they're like, oh yeah, you stole someone's idea, like with the fucking heart sensor in the watch. And then they're like, all right, yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah, here's this little fine.
Easy.
And then they just put it in the Ring. And like, all right, well, yeah, we're just putting it in the Ring.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah.
Now, here's a question. Yeah. I always not to be like a weirdo about it, but it's like. Yeah. I don't know what it is that does all that shit. So it's like, I don't know if I trust it.
Yeah.
But I get that there's nothing wrong with it. But
well, I think in this case, it's probably not invasive. Yeah. Like it's not penetrating your body in any way, but
who knows? But then,
that's where I start to get weary, by the way. Yeah. That's kind of where my line is. Like where we start to talk like neurochip. And I don't know how, like, I think it's really interesting like it's going to take a lot to not fall into that temptation. Cause like I said, we've had the conversation before. It'll be difficult to even compete if you're a organic human compared to like somebody that it could be your choice. But then again, like, am I going to hire somebody that doesn't have access to the whole fucking internet at any point? Or no, I'll hire the fucking guy that got the neurochip and then whatever. So it's like, I don't know how you'll compete in a free market even at that point. So that's another level of this kind of impact.
Which again, you should not be okay with anyone putting anything in your fucking brain.
That's wild.
Like especially something like, dude, you can't see what's going on. That's the shit gets on your brain stem. That shit has any type of kill. Yeah, you're done. Okay, I'm done. Again, crazy, but crazy isn't too crazy when it happens, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Okay. Conspiracy theories, but there I am. Right?
That was hilarious. Crazy's not crazy until it happens. Yeah, you literally sound like them, the Doomsday Prepper guys.
But no, it's
I'm
like,
with you though.
But it's like I don't know, man. Like the goggles shit. Not to sound like an old timer, but I can see with just technology now, bro. We have gotten so lazy. So it's like, how much lazier do we have? Like I always thought that would be the coolest thing ever. I was like, man, I can't wait for technology to work. I'm just thinking like text so and so, and it's like, all right, and it's like, but it's what's so bad with having the AirPod and saying like, hey Siri, text.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch this camera real quick because that other camera's acting crazy.
But yeah, no, like you know, like we already have Siri and that shit does enough. Like, it's like, I don't know.
So what are you saying? Like you should limit innovation to prevent laziness? You shouldn't make life as easy as you could.
It sounds so backwards.
That's what I'm saying. Of course you would want that, right? You want it to be,
like
that seems like
how lazy are we supposed to get until it's detrimental?
Oh, I think it's already been detrimental in some ways. But has the detriment to humans outweighed the benefit that humans have received from, you know, whatever technology being better and making life easier? I would say no.
Put that innovation in other places outside of media wants and desires. Like put it in places that will actually advance society. Put it in better functioning roads or sewage systems. Put it towards better shit, not just technology to make Apple more money or Microsoft more money.
I think I don't think you're comparing necessarily the same thing, because you're talking about kind of like a private for-profit market, and this would be kind of like where capitalists would be like, that's an example of what we're talking about,
right? No,
where they would say like, look at how much technology has advanced in a private market. It's all based off profit. And then look at your, you know, like public sewage systems or whatever, you know, water, like everything you mentioned, like we kind of go hand in hand with that.
Yeah, but it's not, again, but you could definitely come in, and that's where just more money allocated to those things would be better. But yes, if you had a billionaire come in and do it, but we're seeing where
I'm saying people hold on, no, because I think it's companies. We're talking about private companies are being built in the technology industry,
right.
And then you're comparing it to like things that are ran by like local, you know, municipalities or whatever it's called, whatever. So so I think that's the difference. Like one is for like very clearly for profit, and the other one is you know, done for like, I mean, you're talking about like local water, I guess, would be in charge of like and then they would hire a private company most likely, but it's not a company that's producing something. I think that's where we're getting the difference when we're talking about innovation. So
no, I get that. And I get where it would be, but yes, like cell phones and technology, media is where there's more money, and that's where there's going to be. Again, it's private. I get, I'm just saying that we've done this experiment with phones. We've seen the way that the media has gone, and we can all point to where it's like, hey, there is an issue with it. Like,
do you think there's more? But my initial question was, do you think that as much as it's hurt people and there's been a detriment, do you think it's been a net positive? Because there's also obviously been benefits to it.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a question.
But is there not a too far? Like to me, I always think about like where is the too far?
Yeah.
So it's like, at what point do you like slow it down? Now, I don't think that there's anything necessarily wrong with it, with the Google, with the goggle shit.
Yeah.
Again, I think
looks
it's
fucking
cool.
sweet, bro.
I think it's cool. I think there's an issue when you do it in public.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
But yeah, at home, I think it's cool as shit.
Yeah.
but it's just like I said, my uncle doesn't even he doesn't even text with his hands anymore. So it's kind of like
does his hands work?
Yes.
Okay. So what's he use?
He owns a business, an AC business. Like he
does he have that fucking Apple goggles?
No, he just does he just talks to his phone. He just holds it up to his mouth and fucking talks. And it's like,
and the texts are wrong.
It's like, yeah, and it's like, dude,
like could you just text it? This was all inaccurate.
And it's like how lazy. It's like, dude, you're 50. Like you're not supposed to be the lazy one. My son, and I can't wait till you go through this.
Oh yeah,
with reading.
Yeah.
Well, what's the point? Technology is going to be so good that I don't have to read. It's
damn it.
My fucking God. It's like, all right,
that's where you gotta start smacking kids.
Yeah. So it's like you gotta, parent there, but it's like that's just like the mindset now.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. So again, this is like the old time.
Yeah.
But,
I mean,
it's like, I don't know.
The other thing,
there's no slowing innovation. There's no slowing how cool technology is going to get. I mean, but
and I guess I just want to get clear to the question because I'm interested where you land on it. Do you think that technology has been more of a net positive where we're at today, or has it been a net negative? So for everything that's negative, that we're talking about laziness, maybe like people not being able to have conversations as easy, like being awkward, and then all the positives, which I guess would be global communication at a fucking instant snap of a fucking finger. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
I think on the face, yes. I agree with that 100%. And again, I'm not somebody who thinks social media is a bad thing. I think social media.
Bro, people used to just be able to say wild shit, brother, and they couldn't even verify it. Now we can actually access information. I mean, just that alone. People used to say crazy racist shit, and everybody around was like, I guess that guy's fucking right. He's the smartest guy in the village.
Which is right. But if there was some shit that hit the fan, I do think a lot of people are fucked now. And because it's like, we have a very cushiony lifestyle. Which again, I appreciate and I love. Trust me.
I mean, some people could adapt. I think some people could adapt to it. And of course, some people would be fun. But it's like, I think people, like you're talking about, like, I don't know, like a doomsday scenario. I mean, a lot of people are going to be fucked regardless, right? That's kind of the point of a doomsday scenario.
But again, I'm down with technology. I was just talking shit.
No, I think that we have I'm just a little bit more open to it, but I think that we're in mostly agreement. Like VR, you said the goggles you're cool with. I think we're both probably on the same page with that. I've been waiting for that since I was a kid. I'm on that shit. Once it gets really cool, I'm in the goggles. And I've already tried the Oculus and stuff, but it just wasn't cool enough yet. So once
the boxing game on Oculus is dope.
Okay, so there you go. Once I can play fucking football,
that's
bro.
what I've been wanting.
Come on, that's what I'm saying. Stop it. Yeah, dude. So once you can get in there, play football, and whatever, go on cool adventures that I can't even think of.
Call of Duty of VR.
I re-downloaded Grand Theft Auto 4 because I wanted something that I could play while I was editing something new. So sometimes I'll just pull up to this man's eating a burrito off camera, just so everybody know he's fucking deep throwing a burrito. But I've been playing that again, and I was showing my woman, we were out here chilling, and I was like, look at I started at least seeing this game when I was 5. As early as I can remember, I was watching my cousins at least play Grand Theft Auto. And then watching it with her then and playing it again. And then now you have a fucking first person mode. So I was just like, hey, look at this. And then I would do just the most gruesome shit. I'd walk up to some woman and shoot her 80 times with a gun. And she's just like, I'm like, yeah, you could just do that randomly. As a kid, I'm an adult and I'm doing it to prove a point and to have fun right now because I'm actually still enjoying it. But but no, I was just to prove a point here. And then what kind of to think that doesn't have an impact as somebody who Grand Theft Auto is probably my favorite game ever. To say it doesn't have an impact, I can't even imagine that doesn't have an impact on me to see that, to be honest.
Well, like Parker always wants to play it, and I thought absolutely. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
He's played it once with his cousin, and I said, you can drive the damn car.
Yeah.
And then when I saw them go off road and hit the way, I said, well, you went too far. Okay, I said, all right.
So I'm about to say, man, you also pick up whores in that car.
Well, and that's what I was going to say is, listen, man, who you are in Grand Theft Auto is not a real. Okay, dude, listen, when I get into an altercation with somebody who wants to, look stupid on the street.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, motherfucker, what'd you say? And you got to get in a shootout right in the middle of the street.
Shoot them to death.
Yeah. And then cops come around. And you got to do your
You got to shoot all the police officers.
You got to heal up. And we all know how you heal up is you pick up a prostitute.
Oh yeah. No, you got to get your beak wet.
Get it in.
Yeah. Get your beak wet.
Yeah. And then you can't lose money, dog. You gotta kill her.
You got to murder the prostitute
Get your
immediately
money
after and
back.
steal everything on her
Get your money
after
back.
her hard night work. Oh God! All right,
It's
we're
so bad.
fucked.
It's so bad.
Here, let me get to some of these comments. There is an Aura ring that has some of that. We will have Hal running everything. So this is Hal's from Space Odyssey. It was AI and turned on the. Are you familiar with that movie?
No.
Oh, fucking sick movie,
Yeah,
dude.
watch some more.
It's Stanley Kubrick. You familiar with him? The Shining director.
Yep.
So yeah, really cool director. And so it's about these people. They go on a space mission. The AI on the ship is there to assist them. Eventually, the AI ends up saying, "Okay, I'm actually gonna fuck you guys over." And
That's like a 90s or 2000 movie.
oh, probably earlier than that. It's probably like 80s.
I think I
70s,
did
probably.
watch that movie.
Maybe.
I think I did watch that movie as a kid.
The movie was called 2001: Space Odyssey. So, 1968. The movie actually begins with like apes.
I did not see that.
Okay, you didn't see it. Okay, it's fire though. You should definitely check it out.
Similar that they probably ripped off.
There was a sequel to it that did end up actually coming out later, but it wasn't the same director. I don't believe it definitely wasn't the same director. All right, go to a doctor. Tell them you're tired. Depression. Tell them you can't sleep. Depression. Tell them you sleep too much. Depression. Okay, I got that's about
ADHD. No,
yeah.
Do you shake your feet? ADHD. Okay.
Oh man, yeah.
Are you 10 and you can't pay attention for 30 minutes straight? ADHD. It's like, bitch,
yeah, it has nothing to do with the fucking tablet. Yeah, so it has nothing to do with Miss Rachel. We don't want to hold her to account. So should we ban thinking machines like Dune? Either way, we are all screwed.
Yeah.
Well, I see. I'm not necessarily as like they call it black pilled now, where they say like people are just like doom people, doomers. I feel like there's still a way.
What do you mean by that?
People that like when you say that we're all screwed, like just in general, like we're just fucked. There's no way to.
Do you think that there's going to be a rapture?
No, I mean I just think there's a path to like a good society that people could be happy with, and I think
we're going to get there.
No, and I don't even think that. In my experience in society as an American, I don't think that we're that far from that. And
indoctrination has worked with these young kids. Okay, they're more accepting.
I love it too. It worked on me.
They're more accepting, they're more loving. Okay, and now social media really shows them a lot where they're like, all right, yeah, that's not good. I don't like that. All right, this is cool. And then it's like that's a fairy tale world, and then more and more people are like, maybe it's not.
Yeah,
maybe if we decide.
Yeah,
that it's not.
That's part of the communication thing. So that'd be another.
We could make it.
I don't know if you actually answered my question. Still,
I said,
do you say yes or no? Can I get that?
I was just talking shit, but yes, I've always been.
Oh, you think it's mostly a positive?
Yeah, yeah. I've always said that I think social media has done more good than bad.
Okay,
I think that yes, there's a lot of cess shit, but it's like at the end of the day, like it's done great for just exposure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, shit. Look at this.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's sweet. Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah, exactly. I agree with that.
It should be pretty cool just to like be laying down in bed and the little iPhone thing and be like, oh look, you're right there with us.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, if you guys could like be in the room because of the fucking AI goggles or whatever, or we could even not even be in the same place, but then be like Obi-Wan Kenobi astral projecting in a place. We could be doing.
I've been waiting for projections. That's what I want.
That'd be sick.
I want.
Yeah. I think we're on our way.
We got FaceTime, but I want
the AI stuff. I think is getting kind of close to that because see, yeah, dude. I think we're gonna get to that one. Are you fucking kidding me? I've been wanting to kick your ass. I've been wanting to kick your ass, brother. But no, I think that we're like at least as far as like projecting, because I don't know if you've seen. I think it's Meta. They did the I think I put it in the group chat where they did a podcast where it was all this kind of like 3D, projection of themselves as Lex Friedman and Mark Zuckerberg.
I saw that.
Okay, so yeah, so it was a while back, but so I think we are getting to that point for sure. That was still even elementary compared to where I think we're going to end up being. But I definitely think we're at a point where we're going to be able to be like, hey, me, Paul, on the Death Star, and we're gonna do a podcast on the Death Star.
But we do need to be well educated because man, the deep fakes.
I don't give a fuck about that. If they tell me I can do a podcast on the Death Star with fucking Darth Vader walking behind me, I'm fucking doing it, man. I don't care what he does.
Just the way that technology is getting, we have a lot of deep fakes. Just be careful.
Yeah, for sure. That's gonna be
research.
Yeah, and we're giving so much content, talking for fucking 3 hours at a time on these videos where they're gonna be able to recreate us easy. So easy, dude.
I give my whole information.
Literally.
Yeah, all my information.
Literally.
I gave you everything.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Mother's
Holy
maiden name.
shit. Yeah. So y'all asking the same questions as the Unabomber did. Yeah, we're getting there. I think I'm getting there real close. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding. If there's any agents watching this, they'll hack your brain through those evil goggles. I'm look. Are you not interested in the goggles, Jada? Because I'm interested.
Invaders, them shit.
There's no way I'm not. If they weren't so fucking expensive, it literally is that. I have no shame in that. It's way too expensive.
If one rich dude was an alien, who do you think it would be?
Oh, dude, there's a ton of good options, but Elon Musk is definitely a really good option. He's a fucking weirdo.
How do we give him the right just to shoot spaceships everywhere?
Yeah,
like Halloween this past year. We were walking and you just saw like a trail of white lights going across, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, that's SpaceX." It's like, oh,
I think
it's like, wait, it's just in.
I can see
it's just in orbit.
I can see Zuckerberg, but sometimes I do see Zuckerberg talk, and I'm like, I kind of like a little bit something I kind of like about him a little bit, but
I'm not against him.
I'm against him, but at the same time, there are some times that I don't hate him.
Maybe I'm not educated on him enough. I just feel like people just hate everybody.
That might be your Putin, man. That might be your Putin.
Oh,
I'm just playing. All right, so let's see what we got tonight. We'll wrap it up. You guys, we've been vibing. Thank you guys. Make sure you hit like, make sure you subscribe, whatever platform you're on. Show some love. Also, just so everybody knows, I did create a new channel because they have been fucking with me on this channel. It's going to be called Movie Matches. For now, I might play with that title, but I already made the channel, so go check out Movie Matches if you want to see specifically content where I'm going to be talking about a lot of movies, a lot of stuff that has been releasing recently, and I'm going to do reviews and just discussions and stuff like that. Also, definitely going to get into some debates. We already kind of talked about that with Paul and some other people, where we're going to have people come on and just debate crazy movie topics. So that's going to be more of a fun channel. I'm going to leave the politics over here and leave the sports over here as well and all that. I might make another sports channel, but yeah, Movie Matches. Go check it out. It's the logo is a ring, so go check that out. Did you see Lil Donald Trump Jr.? He supposedly got a letter with white powder, which he definitely didn't order. He got one of those texts where they're like, "Hey, UPS has your package, come get it." He's like, "Yeah, it's not fucking mine."
Ain't mine.
Yeah.
Who said this?
This kind of shit nowadays. I'm surprised we don't hear about shit like that more often, to be honest. So I don't
understand how people just ship drugs through the mail all the time.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, brother.
Like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
man. It's nothing happened. It's like you just shipped a few pounds of shit. So that, bro. Like,
no, some people are experts. Those are called smugglers.
Don't do that. Okay, that's going to lead them right to you. Okay?
Oh, before, because I want to make sure to touch on this because it's the fucking thumbnail. My bad. 'Cause we talked about Israel and shit. How do you feel about Tiffany Haddish? We have to talk about that. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but she went and visited Israel. She is a Israelite, so you know what I mean.
She went over there.
Yeah, she went over there. She was making a little bit of a vacation about it. And she did say, she's like, "Hey, I want to see what's going on. I want to actually see what's going on."
Okay.
And like I said, she is of
she's
Israeli descent.
So she's going to try to make some light of it. I mean, how far does she go with this?
I mean, I didn't see anything where she was really making light. She there was the only other video I saw, she was doing a bus tour. And the thing that I think is actually more concerning, not that she would make light, but that, you know, maybe she's being used as a source of propaganda, because the video that I was watching where they were going through doing the bus tour, now obviously this would be a pro-Israel bus tour, but I don't know, for the right fucking bag probably. But the guy's like, he's saying like, "Oh, hey, you know, this is an area where we all pray," and the guy specifically like, "And this is all religions pray here."
Yeah,
literally, this is like,
sure.
And I'm watching like a 3-minute clip, and this is at the very beginning. And then she's showing around the environment. There's a lady with a gun sitting out there, and she's like, "Oh, she's ready," and there's some chick standing there with a fucking like goddamn M16, like it's fucking Desert Storm conflict Desert Storm.
World peace.
Yeah. So that I guess is the only thing that is throwing some red flags in my mind, is that obviously if somebody got into her ear, it could be used as just some kind of American, especially now that America specifically is getting a little restless with the funding of that conflict.
So one of our politicians said, "Hey, go over there
Maybe
put it on IG.
it could have. I think it could have went either way. Yeah.
Look,
Yeah, make it look like we're not being dickheads. But that's really where that is. I think we really can't say. I can understand her curiosity. Like I said, she's Israelite.
Yeah.
So and everybody in the world is like people that have the means to go visit, maybe they would want to. If you're a curious person.
If you had the means, would you want to go?
Yeah, probably. I mean,
put your eyes on it. I mean, I would.
Yeah, probably.
It's stupid and dangerous, but I want to go.
Yeah, I mean, if money wasn't a concern there, then I think that would be something that I would be interested in experiencing and documenting. Honestly, I mean, I'd want to go out there and document it, so it might even be more exploitive. So who knows? So I can understand where she's coming from. I would also want, I mean, I guess she's doing that to a certain extent. She's videotaping part of it, so she is also documenting
Maybe
it. So
she's doing a Netflix special.
she's trying to get one. So just
like a little docu-series, like 3 episodes.
I want to go ahead and hit these. We have some more stuff, so we always talk about trying to schedule something for later in the week. We always have some stuff that we could talk about, so keep an eye out. Make sure you hit the bell so you're notified. Like I said, YouTube's been fucking with the kid, man, so I'm gonna have to be cool, and I'm not gonna say anything crazy, but at the same time, make sure you hit the bell, help us out. Share this with a friend, share this with anybody that would like to. We talk about all kinds of shit here, so music, sports, politics, just anything that's all the happenings we get into here. So
Taylor Swift,
there's literally nobody.
Beyonce's
Your grandma,
send
send it. You know what I mean? Your mom, send it. Your brother, send it. Your sister, send it. All of them, you go ahead, get them in a group chat, send it, talk about it. You know what I mean? Make it a day. But show some, and it would definitely help the growth. We're trying to hit 1,000 here, then continue to grow. And I'm gonna keep on working it from there. And like I said, create new channels and doing different, bigger stuff. And yeah, so I wanted to make sure that we hit these 2 topics though for our people that tune in for sports. I'm going to try not to let that slow down too much. Like I said, I want to try to make time to make more content throughout the week to specifically maybe get into basketball. So don't be too discouraged because we got into a lot of politics stuff here today. It just happened to go that way. And it is a little bit of, we're right smack dab in the middle of off season, but we got to get together on that draft shit. Actually, please don't let me forget that. Yeah. So we have stuff to talk about. So don't be discouraged by today's episode. If that's what you'd like to hear from us, because we're going to come back and we're going to definitely get into some more of that. One story this week that I thought was interesting and I thought might be really impactful for the next year coming is Justin Fields, obviously one of the premier quarterbacks coming into this free agency. And somebody that there's a lot of upside, but we don't know exactly what whoever would get from him. Recently, he unfollowed the Bears. Now, I saw him say, and he actually had an excuse I was willing to accept for that. He was like, hey, I was going on vacation, and I didn't want to see any football shit, really. I get that. I don't necessarily love to hear that from my quarterback. I'd love to hear him. I want to be locked in 100% of the time, but I can accept that as a reason. That's rational to me. But then this week, he ended up following some of the Falcons players, the main Falcons players, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts. So people are now obviously starting to connect some dots, possibly.
Which maybe. I mean, that trade could make sense. I mean,
yeah. Do you think he's signaling in any way, or what? What do you think the reason for that is in the timing?
I think that players definitely do use this to get a message out, and I feel like he feels disrespected. Do I feel like the disrespect is somewhat warranted? In a critical aspect, yes. Do I think on a personal aspect? Obviously not.
Yeah.
But I mean, it never feels good when your organization is non-committal.
Sure.
Right. So there's some talk going around that like DJ Moore has talked about how he wants Marvin Harrison Jr. On the team. So maybe there is something where they are going to keep their first pick, or maybe try to trade it back just a couple spots and draft that top receiver and see, hey, if we give Fields a team, let's see where this goes. I mean, if he doesn't pan out, then you're still going to be in position to draft another quarterback next year.
How do you feel about Caleb Williams, though? That's the option right now.
I don't think I think he's going to be a bust in the NFL. I think talent-wise, he's talented.
I saw something from Merrill Hodge where he said that he wasn't special.
Yeah.
Again, well, he said some other stuff, but that was the main part.
I don't think he's as special as people put him out to be. Again, they talk about arm angles. Arm angles is a lot of quarterbacks are not throwing with different arm angles. Okay.
Yeah.
I think he's late in progression at times, which again, the college quarterbacks do that. One guy that I like more is Drake May, who I think again, he played with guys who are not up to his level
intellectually.
What if you put the question, and because
Caleb,
what you're suggesting is possibly we could wait a year. So Justin Fields, and I want to say, like, even if you get the first overall pick, that's not a guarantee that you're not losing something there. You know what I mean? Because the classes are different. This, at least originally, was a class we were really excited about in general in football, right? So you happen to have a top pick here. Yeah. Go ahead.
I honestly, me personally, I feel like the quarterbacks were a little overrated coming out.
But that was because people were really high on it. I feel okay. If that was your personal opinion, that's fine.
Like talent is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb Williams is talented.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why college football, and correct me if I'm wrong, football, the quarterback can control a lot of the game.
Sure.
The best quarterbacks really win in college football. Not national championships. I'm not saying they win national championships, but they win.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Bro,
I can agree with that.
The Pac-12 might have been Washington and Oregon, but then who? USC was not good. They were a decent team.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just the defense, but again, there were games where Caleb Williams would do all this, and you would feel bad for him, be like, oh man. But I feel like there's something to do with the leadership aspect of him, to where the team, after he wasn't there in the bowl game, was mocking him when they were stopping the team.
Do you think this is okay? Do you think that a player can learn from this, or do you think if this is an issue at this point in his career, you don't see it changing?
Because we'll see. Johnny Manziel. We'll see.
Because when you get to the point to where, like you said, your team's mocking you and things like that, that could be such a, that could be such a difficult position. Like, what's the word? That's adversity. And obviously people can come through the other side of adversity and change. So there's some things that he's capable of doing that obviously I don't think you could develop somebody to do.
I don't want to harp too much on the I don't want to harp too much on like the whole he doesn't want to play for certain teams. He wouldn't go. If he's not number one, he's not going. All this, whatever it was that he was saying, because Eli Manning did it. We've seen it before. And Elway, I think it was Elway that did it as well. So like I get it. But it was just everything that I need ownership.
Gotcha.
I don't know. It's just he doesn't seem like a guy who's fully committed to football in the NFL, especially in today's game.
Yeah.
With today's level of athletes and competition, the parity in the NFL, you need people who are bought in completely.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I said that Jalen Hurts. I said that I feel like the Patriots, Steelers, or whoever drafted him was going to get a guy who in his first year, who knows, but you knew that he was going to put in the work every offseason to be the best. And football is going to be everything. So,
let's bring it back to the comparison, because I think this is an interesting thing. I'm curious your opinion on it. And obviously this could change. But I think the question that we're answering here, though, is how do we feel about this class compared to the next class? If we don't take either Drake May or Caleb Williams, and then we wait, and then we end up next year, did we just pass up on possibly franchise changing talent quarterbacks, which was the initial thought? So I'm just wondering, I don't know that we have those I think that right now projected first quarterback in the next draft is Shedeur Sanders. I saw. How do you feel about him compared to those two guys?
I put him. I like him more than Caleb, less than Drake.
Interesting. Okay, but I don't like him better than either of the two. So, but I mean that's a fair point.
I mean, I saw Shedeur do a lot with nothing. Like that offensive line was bad. That was a bad offensive line.
Yeah.
But again, it's not as much Caleb Williams' talent as much as it's the full package of what you're bringing to the quarterback position.
Sure.
And to answer that question, you're passing on this talent, but Justin Fields, I mean, I guess I've missed some things. I didn't watch every Bears game.
Yeah.
But people talk about him as if he showed all this promise.
Yeah.
So
I watched a few of their games.
Athletic ability is off the charts.
And I watched a few of their games. I think that as far as promise, there's the thing is, it's inconsistent. Yeah, it's inconsistent. So he makes plays that are going to make you be like, wow, what the fuck? That's serious. Right. So, I don't know that there was a consistent enough show to where I would pass up on either of these two guys in this draft, because I do, and like I said, that's why I said things could change in your opinion. It may change for me after I see what Shedeur does this year, or if somebody else comes out and just looks incredible, has a Joe Burrow season, then maybe I would feel differently. But right now, I don't know if I would be comfortable passing up on.
You were showing a lot this year.
Sure. I don't. But these two, I think that Caleb Williams has shown enough for me to believe that if I surround him with the right people, and I agree with you. I think it would have to be a total personality evaluation, really, is what we would, because I think the skill set's there. And I think if you could really hone that in, then I think he could be elite. But I have similar concerns to you as far as like the more of the mental aspect and leadership really aspect.
Look at Brock Purdy.
Sure. Well, I mean, and you said Manziel. That's an interesting comparison. I mean, because he just immature, really. You know what I mean? So it's like, and I don't know. I don't know if I had the first overall pick. I don't know if I'm spending that on a quarterback that paints his nails. I'll be honest. That's tough. That would be tough for me. I'll be honest. But
it's like, but again, I don't know. To me, I feel like it has been proven that if you give a quarterback a team, you have a chance. But if you just have a quarterback, don't have much of a chance. Yeah. So what would be wrong with building the team first? It's the same thing as like I said with Pittsburgh or New England. I said, fuck drafting a quarterback. Get the offensive line or get the playmaker that you don't have. Or are you going to put a rookie quarterback out there, Bryce Young, with absolutely nothing but Adam Thielen?
Yeah.
And then you have a shitty season, and then you're going into the next year going, well, I don't know. Hopefully he's our guy.
Yeah.
But he just took a fucking pounding. The Andrew Luck shit. The Colts drafted Luck. They didn't have an offensive line. By the time they built that offensive line and gave him a team to where they were ready to win, his body was done.
Yeah, I think that that's definitely fair, but I guess my pushback is still the same as far as like, and it really, I think, differs if you feel like either of these two quarterbacks are special prospects, and I think that they are. So I mean, like, I agree with you. I would probably go Drake May over Caleb Williams, but I still would go Caleb Williams over any of the guys next year right now.
Do you think either? I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I guess I was gonna say, like, do you think either are better than Justin Herbert? But again, it's like, because what I was gonna say is, like, obviously he hasn't had the best team. I think he's in a good situation, with play callers and as far as like teammates. But I get it where it's like it wasn't the best, but his talent's there.
Yeah.
So it's like, but you see where it's like you're not making playoffs or you are on your first round exit, and it's like, okay, so. That's what I said.
It's like a bird in the hand. It's like when you're talking about team building, the quarterback's still a part of that. And if I have that guy on the roster, then I feel good that I don't have to go try to find him. Now, you do get into like contract, and you get into contract issues, don't get me wrong. Like then you end up not being competitive. Then you end up having to pay you have to pay him a shit ton, and then you can't go into free agency and build your team. So that becomes more difficult. So there's definitely some downsides, but if you have an opportunity to lock in one of those guys as Dolphins fans, I'm never passing that up. I would feel great if we drafted Caleb Williams. If we didn't have Tua, I'm not saying I would prefer Caleb over Tua necessarily, but if we were in the Bears position, basically, and we went and got Caleb Williams, I would feel encouraged going forward. With Justin Fields, I don't know that I feel encouraged by that.
No, and I get that. Now there's another player that, again, for some reason his name becomes taboo. He's a Super Bowl champion. But Russ is saying he'll play for league minimum for veteran men. So it's like that's a move. Is Denver interested in, hey, do you want Justin Fields? Bring in Russ, draft another big target. You have a smart quarterback who's going to make the right plays, a good defense, and in a division that's winnable, and you have a chance. I'm always wary of teams who aren't necessarily there going and just drafting the rookie quarterback, but at the same time, that's the name of the game. So go ahead. They do it. With Caleb Williams, good luck. I don't think he's the best. But then again, been wrong before.
Yeah.
I would go Drake May. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see Patrick Mahomes and Caleb Williams, and that's what they're comparing him to.
Yeah.
And it's all because he's athletic and throws sidearm at times.
Yeah, but it's like if you shoot for the stars, you land on a cloud type deal. So it's like if he doesn't end up being Patrick Mahomes, but he ends up being Josh Allen, they're like, oh,
or
I'm good with that.
He could be Drew Lock.
Could be Drew Lock.
Or he could. I mean, there's a few quarterbacks where
I think we've seen enough special talent from Caleb Williams to not feel like he's going to be Drew Lock. But we'll see. I mean, like you said, it all has to play out. They have to make that step. And I think really, like I said, for me, it's comparing the classes and right now being in the Bears position and also not even being guaranteed that you're going to be as terrible as you were. So Justin Fields could even go out there and not prove necessarily his worth, but win a couple more games, and then you're looking in a position where you're drafting sixth and you're taking the third quarterback.
Is going to make some big throws, though.
Yeah.
So
and I think if you go and you sit down with him,
he's really good.
If you go and you sit down with him and then you don't feel confident, then I would say at that point the Bears should make that decision to not go forward with them. You really have to gauge the person. So I think that's going to be, whether there's any kind of like development, personality development, I think that's a huge part of this, whether you actually make that pick. But from like a talent standpoint, if you have any faith in the guys that you have hired as coaches, I think you could feel confident going forward with, if, like I said, because of Mike McDaniel, I would feel good going with Caleb.
Bring in Kirk Cousins, damn it. Someone.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, there are
market, but the veteran quarterbacks have no market right
It does seem that way, but once it gets time, I think we'll see different. And then even after the draft, you know what I mean? Then they'll have the leverage, because it'll be kind of like,
how do you feel about like all these motherfuckers not I'm sorry to say motherfuckers, but all these people not participating in the combine? I hate it.
Yeah, don't like it. But I mean, I'm not surprised. This is kind of the bullshit that we've been dealing with college athletics recently. No, by the way, no yo goggles. Might as well let Elon, quotes Lex Luthor, implant one of his death chips in your brain. Yeah, that's fair. So this right here, here's the last topic we want to get into. Once again, make sure you subscribe, show some love, share the content with somebody that would be interested in all these kinds of topics. So everybody, we get into everything, and we just sit here and we vibe and chop it up and get in the comments. We like interacting with you guys. I appreciate everybody's got in the comments tonight, especially Jade Spades. You went crazy in there, and everybody else that hopped in here and said something tonight. We really appreciate it, and that you got involved in the conversation. So this, like I said, last topic, Nick Offerman here. If you guys watched Parks and Rec, you know him as the grumpy office supervisor. So he just spoke out recently. We had I think it was the SAG Awards. And let's find his right here. So he thanked HBO for, quote, having the guts to participate in this storytelling tradition that is truly independent. Let's go ahead and run down here. Stories that when homophobic hate comes my way and says, why did you have to make it a gay story? We say, because you ask questions like that. It's not a gay story. It's a love story, you asshole. Offerman said during his acceptance speech as the audience cheered and applauded. He added that he hopes to see more of that representation before thanking the showrunners, his family, and hilariously, my bride, my puzzle coach, and legal property, Megan Mullally. I don't know, man. We might look back on this fucking acceptance speech and not look at it fondly when he's talking about legal property people. Offerman, one episode arc. Okay, this kind of talks about what happened there, which, by the way, he played a character named Bill who was from the game. You meet up with him in the game, and he ends up like giving you a car so you can get to like Pittsburgh or whatever. And this happens in the series Last of Us that was on HBO. And in the TV show, they decided to adapt it a bit, and the characters actually don't even meet Bill. You see, so the main character meets Bill, but for the car, when he gets there to get the car, Bill's already gone and dead. So in the game, that's different to start out. That's one way that they adapted it. And then on top of that, you see this kind of like in between love story with Bill that he has with a man that he ends up like he's a captive, I guess, like he falls into one of Bill's traps that he has for zombies, and he ends up, just being cool with them, and they immediately suck each other's dicks. That's literally what happened. Like first day, they're like, Bill takes a shower, and the guy's like, or the other guy might take it. I think the other guy takes a shower, and Bill's like, let me get some of those balls on my face.
Man. Like, he cleaned them off. I want him to smack me.
Well, he didn't clean them off. He didn't clean them off, but then he did clean them off, if you feel what I'm saying.
People dying outside. Why not?
Well, I mean, I feel you.
I mean, I'm not into it, but
if he was a straight man, I would say because he's a straight man. But either way, that's not important. But I guess so. I actually do have a little bit of an issue, and I've been vocal from time to time on this because I watched the series when it came out. We've talked about it on here. I don't know if me and you have though yet, so I'll revisit that and we can have a conversation. We might disagree a little bit. So I played the game obviously, and I did take issue with this because in this case it felt kind of forced, and the reason it felt forced was because in this story you already have a gay relationship, and the main character, literally the Ellie girl, she's lesbian and she has a love with a girl and all this, and it's a part of the story. So that for me is something that I never have issue with. It's something that's a part of the source material. I would never be in support of changing a gay character to a straight character just so people can be comfortable, obviously. But where I also kind of take issue with just changing a character just for the sake of like representation in a case where representation is already taking place. And then in this case, from a storytelling standpoint, where I take issue with it is that you have this relationship that's very important to the main character that you now kind of like overshadow because this relationship takes place first in the series. So people see this, you know, and if it's supposed to be like impactful from like a gay standpoint, like what he's saying, like it's supposed to be thought provoking, then you kind of like jump the shark there with the relationship that you already had that was actually already supposed to happen. That was already super important to the character development of that main character. So I don't know how you feel about that. If it's maybe not a non-issue or something you would take issue with.
In the story of the game, do they have any reference to like a partner for him? Is he perceived to be straight or
no? I mean, so I don't remember if there's he's definitely not gay, and I don't know if he references to a wife. I don't remember.
Definitely not gay.
Well, I mean, I'm saying I'm saying like not explicitly. I should say. Like I don't mean so I don't mean like definitely not. What my point being is that he definitely doesn't say that he is type shit. So and then also like I said, I can't say for certain that there's any like mentioning of like a wife or anything. I just don't remember that dialogue that clearly to say that. So potentially it was left ambiguous enough to where you could assume that he went either way, but really my point is just to shoehorn this relationship in anyways. This is the only thing he does in the story.
Spoiler alert.
This way. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we definitely spoiler alert.
Yeah. So spoiler alert.
Yeah. Well, didn't I guess
in this story, does the boyfriend have anything to do with the death?
Yeah, they decide to die together, like Romeo and fucking Juliet.
Because I'm trying to understand there's a connection in the story as to why they think because to me it doesn't. Yeah, this is the third part outside. I don't know the original story. Okay. It doesn't come off to me as if they took a straight character that was perceived to be straight and made him gay. They just gave a character that didn't have a backstory. And then they instead of giving it in the as far as a car ride, it would be better as a TV show to make it a love story and he's dead. I don't know. Again, I don't fucking. I'm just trying to make sense to it.
No, and I understand. I think you're making a fair point. I just don't think it. I don't necessarily agree that it was necessary, but I understand your point that there's for reasons of the TV show they decided to give him a backstory. Although, like I said, they ended up taking away the actions that he actually does
in the game.
But I mean, not necessarily because they still get the car from him. He's just not there to give him the car, and that's what he does in the story. And then also they end up fighting zombies together and shit, and he saves their life. But
okay, well, that's kind of big thing that they missed.
Well, sort of. But if you don't have that, I mean, I don't know that it really has a huge impact because the guy is not a character. He doesn't stay impacting the story going forward. So, so for that reason, I don't know that it necessarily, but the point being is they don't end up meeting him. He ends up, so his partner ends up getting sick. I think like just regular sick. And that's part of the whole story you see. They basically like grow old together. Like they're able to create such a safe fucking environment that these guys are literally able to like have this little town where they grow up together, grow old together. So the guy ends up getting sick, and then they have like this dinner together, and his partner's like basically like, hey, I want to die. Give me this poison. I want to die like peacefully in your arms or some shit like that. Like I want to definitely. It's very romantic. And he ends up taking the poison as well. So he gives him the poison. He's like really emotional about it. I don't want to give you the poison. I love you. All that kind of shit. And then without asking his partner's permission, he ends up taking it as well. Then they have like a moment of like betrayal where he's like, I didn't want you to die. Now you're going to die because of me. So it's like a selfish decision you made. And then like we're going to let go of the control of the moment. We're just going to appreciate each other. And we're going to die together and all this. And they end up going and laying down and leaving the main character a note. So he leaves a note to this character, Joel, that basically says like, hey, we ended up dying and like leave the window open because we're fucking rotting in that bedroom legitimately.
I would see that.
Yeah.
But, so with that, as far as like pushbacks to why they make him gay.
Yeah.
I just feel like at this point we should understand that's a 50-50 chance as to if they're straight or gay in storytelling.
Yeah.
Like again, like we just because we're straight.
We'll tell fucking American Horror Story that, by the way.
Well, it's a lot gay.
It's like a 9 to 10 ratio in that show.
Well, demographic, I guess. I'm not positive, but
the fuck, bro, I don't suck dicks. I was there.
but it's like, to me, it's like we're straight, so we always want to perceive everything as straight.
Yeah,
and it's like so.
And traditionally, that is the norm.
Yeah, and then if you're someone who like your entire thing is trying to like attack the norm, then it makes sense. So I don't know, like
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I understand one because there's been other shows where it kind of has seemed like it's more of like a political, like uncover, and I understand the people feeling like maybe like rightfully so, like that this is a just political cause as far as like representation and so on and so forth. But like I said, there's been times that I felt like it was over the top, and in this case, this was. I mean, what does it matter? What does it matter, bro? I mean, okay, calm down.
No, go ahead. Like as far as like people just like you know, I'm not gonna lie. In high school, I had the same kind of thought where it's like, man, it seems like every TV show has to have a gay person. And then it's like I had this thought when I was in high school that I don't have an issue with someone being gay. I have friends gay. I mean, one of my smoking partners was gay.
Yeah.
But I didn't like the overly flamboyancy.
Yeah.
And I just thought because it was attention seeking. And then it's like it takes a little maturity, a little understanding, and talking to be like, oh, this is just your defense mechanism, and this is you finally being able to express yourself. And maybe it's overboard, but you know, it's okay. I'm obnoxious too.
Or in that case, people are writing, so it's like characters.
Yeah. But it's like I'm obnoxious with what I love. So it's like fuck it. So like I get it. So it's like I don't know. I think that it's good. I think that the more it's open, the more it's shown, the less of a conversation it should become. But for some reason, it never stops.
I think in this case, it has to do with, and you make it
your character thing is
well, and you make a good point too, though, as far as like if it's not like explicit, then I guess they have the artistic freedom to do whatever they might want with the character. But it wasn't a part of the character story, and this is source material that exists, and this is a great this is like game of the year. Like this is a reason this game's getting made so quickly is because you know it's an extremely popular game, so it's important. This story is important to people is what I mean. So it's any
I get that.
Yeah, so it's anytime like a story gets adapted, you start to talk about like wanting to change Spider-Man, and you want to change this character, it's like the like there's companies and all that, there's like some kind of ownership there, but then the audience also feels like they have some kind of ownership. They have a familiarity with the character or the source material, and they would like it to be faithful to that in some way. And you know, this just happens to be one way where maybe they feel like it wasn't. My biggest issue was that there was already that relationship that I think this kind of ended up downplaying. It took away a lot of what could have been powerful about Ellie's relationship later. And yeah, so I mean that was my biggest issue with it. As far as the actual execution of it, I think it was pretty beautifully done. I mean, it was done really well.
I feel your dissatisfaction with it, or not dissatisfaction, I guess that's the wrong word, but like
no, I feel that.
Like emotions to it more than like Lord of the Rings fans, who I am a fucking huge Lord of the Rings fan, and the whole
Ring of Power
and having black elves, and they're like, this is a white
elves are Aryan.
It's like that is inaccurate. This takes place in Europe, and I'm like, this is a mythical land. It's mythical.
Yeah, I didn't watch that.
If you think about what Tolkien, if you watch a documentary, if you think about like what the original story portrays. It's 9 people or 9 people. I think 7 people, but get together who are from different walks of life. Who
Ring of Powers,
disagreements.
Guys. Tap it on the Ring of Powers love right now.
Get together to destroy evil. And so yes, inclusion would fucking happen. Who cares if there's black elves? No. Like it's a fairy. It's mythical. It's fake.
Yeah.
Like so.
And black people are real. We know that.
So it's like, come on. So I listen. I get where there's an uproar when you change characters,
but that one you think is ludicrous specifically.
That one's stupid.
Yeah, Ariel, I wish I was more familiar to be able to push back because I didn't watch the show. But
Little Mermaid, I can see where it's like, hey, 30 years, change the fucking character, whatever. Yeah. But I can see where it's like, no, because when I was a little kid,
that I don't have.
When I was a kid, she looked like this. And it's like, well, it's not your Little Mermaid.
That I don't know how much of an issue I have. I would need to know, like we talked about, like Spider-Man. I don't think that Spider-Man has to be white. Like I'm even talking about Peter Parker, not like Miles Morales. But even if we just had Peter Parker, I don't see anything with his story that it's important for him to be a white person to make that story still make sense. Like, and he loves his fucking aunt and uncle, and then his uncle dies, and then he's sad about it. It was like, yeah, it would make perfect sense if he was black. That there would be nothing that wouldn't make sense with that. And then on the other side of that, like a character like Captain America, this is an example I've used before with if you were to change his character and make him black, it wouldn't make any sense. It would be whitewashing history to act like
because
America was racist as fuck at the time. So of course they're not going to make
1920s or whatever.
Yeah, so it's like, to me, that's not being faithful to the source material. So that's where I start to have an issue.
Spider-Man demographically would be black or Hispanic if you look at where he lives.
Well, it wouldn't even matter. He could be white. There's white people there. It literally doesn't. My point is the race is inconsequential. In his case. Yeah, but like with obviously with fucking Captain America, it would be extremely consequential, his race. Like he'd get up on stage and motherfuckers be booing him or some crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it would yeah.
What is he doing
that needs to be a skit. That might need to be the first skit we work on. Black Captain America in the fucking 1940s, World War II. We'll try to we'll get that channel canceled right away, get shadow banned. Yeah, we love to do that. Go ahead. Yeah.
No. I was just saying, it's just I don't know. Like people get too much. They get too involved with it. And it's like, just relax. Again, it's all storytelling. Black Andy, who cares? It's just storytelling.
I agree with that, but this is the only thing though, is because we do have to take into consideration our life is not, we can't take it for granted. So some people, like if you're a Last of Us fan and this is fucking your favorite story or whatever, you might only get to see one adaptation ever. You know what I mean? You might never get another live action adaptation.
Fucking club. Think about it, dude. Harry Potter, the final scene where he breaks the wand and throws it. No, he doesn't. That's not what happens. He fixes his wand and then he buries it with Dumbledore.
Listen, hey, and that blows that wasn't accurate. If it affects the story for you, that sucks. So I mean, no, I think that's valid though. If a Harry Potter fan was complaining about that, I would say, yeah,
Jack Reacher's
valid.
6'7", Tom Cruise is 5'5".
Yeah, they went and got Thad. I think that's the Amazon Prime. Yeah. So they made that right. They made that right. See, but that's an example where thankfully, hopefully, if you're a huge Jack Reacher fan, in your lifetime, you got to see them kind of correct that and make a great Jack Reacher show. Which I mean, I like the TV.
Now listen, if they want to make Abraham Lincoln in a movie nobody got mad when Abraham Lincoln was killing vampires. Okay. Like everyone understood it was a fake fucking story. Nobody was like, actually, Abraham Lincoln didn't do that. Okay, so it's like we can.
I don't know if this is I don't know if this is an equal comparison you're making, though. Is all I'm saying. Because now
we can bend the rules of reality. We can bend the rules of fucking characters. Now get where like in your in your show or book or story, like you wanted to stay accurate, and I agree. That's what I'm saying. Like I agree with your thing with like Last of Us. Especially if they would have made him like I get it where like if like the story is of a straight character and then they take that character who had a wife and they're like, all right,
it's more ambiguous than that.
Then it's like whoa, like you're pushing something that you shouldn't. But it's as far as like the little tiny things that really are minimal at most.
Well, and I guess you could make an argument that this
is good conversation.
Well, it is good conversation, and you could make an argument that this didn't. Like what we were talking about with Spider-Man, we're like, okay, that doesn't affect the story, so it's okay. So maybe you can make an argument that this doesn't affect the story, so it's okay. But then they went ahead and they decided to actually have him fucking commit suicide. Yeah. Which I shouldn't have said on YouTube. But either way, but yeah, they ended up making him off himself because of his relationship. So it actually did, like in the biggest way, affect the character. Yeah. Now they could have decided. I think I could see a scenario where they could have not done that, and it wouldn't have been as impactful. As far as like diverting the story. But yeah, so either way, hey, Paul, this was a great pod, man. We were vibing. It is always a great time sitting here getting to kick it with you. Anybody watching, make sure you go check out Paul on Instagram, Balcom B Paul on Instagram.
Yeah.
Fuck yes. And Paul B. Balcom on X, Twitter. Go check him out. Like I said, you got to lock in with him on X. He is hilarious on there. You will see some arguments that will just tickle you in the middle of the day. And like, damn it, I know he's mad as fuck outside.
I'm out of unit. These motherfuckers.
Literally, you got somebody. Hopefully, they're not paying him by the hour. But no, hey, go check him out. I'm telling you for real on X. He's going crazy. It's just interesting conversation, and you engage a lot. I mean, you're way better at engaging than I am, so it's like I like to get in there and engage with you sometimes. So yeah, you'll catch us chopping it up. And then Sit in Politic everywhere. Sit in Politic. If you want to catch these episodes, I'll drop this episode tomorrow on Apple and Spotify and video version. So if you have those and you want a video version, I'm able to do video versions now on those, so that's really exciting. And then also, like I said, on social media, so go check us out on X. I get on there and I act a fool and I give my opinion while I'm smoking some Zaza, and then wake up the next morning and somebody's telling me shut my fucking mouth. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. And then also on Instagram, you can definitely get with me on there. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, we gotta remember we're a little inebriated.
Always.
As this goes on,
always slightly.
It clearly gets more and more.
Twitter, literally, the only time I get on there,
okay?
Twitter, I'll be high as fuck, and I'm just like, you know what? Every time I go back, by the way, I always have a typo. Like, even the tweet, no matter, even if the tweet is like people are liking it or like people are fucking with it, I'll go look at it. I'm like, I am fucking so high when I wrote this shit.
And you feel so dumb. You're like, God damn it, I look like an idiot.
I can't engage,
but you can't.
I can't engage with people on the internet if I'm not fucking inebriated. So that's my thing. If I'm not high as fuck, I look at Twitter and I'm like, there's better things I could be doing right now. But when I'm high, I'm by myself late at night, and I'm like, you know what? Let me just get on here, and then I do have a good time. So that's when I'm able to just let my guard down and not be judgmental.
Your
I think.
algorithm has some shit because
You think so,
bro? The videos you get
wild,
crack me up.
Yeah,
like I said, mine are all politics, and dolphins, politics.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right.
I get a lot of fight videos.
So yeah, yours. Nancy said politic, and I'm like, oh, what a dope video.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, go follow me, man. I got good shit on there. Definitely some wild fight videos. You got to be ready for that. Sometimes children are involved, and I'm like, how the fuck this website's insane. I see. There are a few times I've been ready to post some shit you can imagine, and then I'll be like, you know, that maybe I shouldn't do. And yeah, the other day I saw there was just these kids boxing, like fucking had to be like 12 years old. X is a wild place. I don't know how. I mean, one thing I will say though, we've never been pulled down from X, and I appreciate that. So they're consistent, at least to a certain degree. Whereas YouTube, I've seen some wild shit on YouTube, and now you motherfuckers are cunts, and that's just what it is.
Last week was wild. Like, woke up in the morning and then gone.
Oh yeah, dude. No, good. YouTube's really been bullshitting with 100%. Like I said, support the pod. Oh, actually, I figured out it was two things there because I chopped them all up, and there was two of those videos that got blocked. So no, YouTube's been fucking with your boy. I did get a guideline and all that. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I am shadow banned for right now. So I've tried to be good. For the most part, here we haven't. That's why we didn't play like too many videos. So I was like, let me slow down on videos, and then we'll just chop it up and have like conversation the whole time, which was dope. And we did a few videos still. Hopefully Frosted Flakes understands. But that was a good. I was happy that you sent that because I had another video ready to open up, and I was like, that's more appropriate. So thank Paul for the commercial. Thank Paul for the Frosted Flakes fucking commercial at the beginning.
Sorry, chicken.
Yeah, there's just no protein in those kids' diets. Fuck it. But babe, make sure that you, like I said, sit in politic everywhere. I want to make sure put that in your head. Make sure this right here on YouTube. Like I said, they're fucking with your boy. So do me a favor and share it because they're trying to stop me from getting to 1,000 because they don't want to pay me for the truth. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna keep giving the truth, and we're gonna get wherever we're getting, regardless. If it takes a little bit longer, we gotta do it a little bit more organic because the powers that be, George Soros, you motherfucker, trying to slow us down. Then it is what it is. You know, that's like I said, that's a sign that your boy is somebody you should mess with. So share this.
Tell your friends.
Exactly. Politics, hip hop, everyday stuff, sports. We get into all of it. Tell your friends, tell your grandmama, tell your mama, tell your dad, tell your sister, tell your cousin.